Welcome back to our channel. Today, we have a special treat for all of you. Something tells us this is going to be a day to remember for this Marine. The moment he sees who's walking towards him, he can't contain himself. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The wedding march begins, and the bride walks down the aisle towards her soon-to-be husband. Everything is going according to plan. The wedding has been a long time in the making, and now it's finally happening. All their friends and family have come together to celebrate this special occasion. As the bride approaches the altar, she stops for a moment to look at the man she's about to marry. She takes a deep breath and continues walking until she reaches him. When the bride arrives at the altar, the two exchange vows and rings before being declared husband and wife. They share a kiss and then make their way back down the aisle as a married couple. At the end of the aisle, they stop to take a moment to look at each other and their guests before continuing on. As the newlyweds exit the ceremony, they are greeted by a crowd of well-wishers who offer congratulations and gifts. After taking some time to thank everyone for coming, the happy couple makes their way to the reception where they dance the night away with their friends and family. This touching story was shared by one of the attendees of the wedding, Abigail. She couldn't help but capture this emotional moment on camera. When she posted it online, it immediately went viral. So far, it has over 3 million views and almost 20,000 comments. People were touched by the groom's reaction to seeing his mother walk him down the aisle. It just goes to show that no matter what challenges we face in life, it's always worth it to keep going. With hard work and determination, anything is possible. In the video description, Abigail explained how this wonderful surprise came to be. She said, "I am the best man's sister. The bride and groom are my brother and sister-in-law. The groom was deployed for the past 7 months, and his mom didn't know if he would be able to make it home for the wedding. 2 weeks before the wedding, he got orders to come home. We all had a feeling that he might do something like this, so we secretly planned it out." She continued, "We asked his mom if she could walk him down the aisle since his dad passed away a few years ago. She was crying as she walked down the aisle because she was so surprised. No one except the bride, my parents, and I knew about it. Everyone was in on it, though, from the photographer to the wedding planner. My mom even stayed in a hotel the night before so that she could be ready in time." She ended the description with, "It was such an amazing moment, and I'm so glad that everyone was able to witness it. It was definitely a day to remember. If you ask us, it seems like the groom had a lot of love surrounding him on his special day. Not only was he able to marry the woman of his dreams, but he also had the opportunity to share that moment with his mother. That's something truly special." The outpouring of support and love from his family and friends was evident in the ceremony, and we're sure that he'll cherish those memories forever. Now let's take a closer look at the groom. He was serving his country and was away from home for an extended period of time. During deployments, soldiers often have to make great sacrifices and endure difficult situations, but they do it for the greater good and to protect those around them. The groom in this video is a true hero, and we appreciate all of the hard work and dedication that he has shown throughout his career. For many soldiers, being deployed means being away from loved ones for months or even years at a time. This can be tough, but they make the best of it and find ways to stay connected while they're apart. Sometimes they'll send letters or care packages to their families, or they'll use video chat to catch up. No matter what, they always find a way to stay connected to the people who matter most to them. Deployments can also be dangerous and unpredictable. Soldiers have to be prepared for anything, and they often put their lives on the line. But they don't do it for the glory or the recognition. They do it because it's their duty, and they believe in what they're doing. The groom in this video is a prime example of that. He's willing to put himself in harm's way to protect others, and we admire his bravery and selflessness. While deployments can be challenging, they can also be rewarding. Soldiers often form close bonds with their fellow service members, and they create memories that will last a lifetime. They get to experience different cultures and places, and they learn new skills along the way. Deployments can be a great opportunity for personal growth, and they can teach soldiers things they never would have learned otherwise. Despite the challenges and the rewards, deployments can take a toll on a soldier's mental health. Being away from loved ones for extended periods of time can be tough, and soldiers often have to deal with stress, anxiety, and uncertainty. However, there are resources available to help soldiers cope with these challenges. Many military bases have counseling services, and there are also organizations that provide support to veterans. The groom in this video is lucky to have such a supportive family and friends. They were able to pull off an amazing surprise for him and make his wedding day even more special. Now, let's take a closer look at the bride. She must have been so excited to marry the love of her life. Weddings are a huge undertaking and require a lot of planning and preparation. From choosing the perfect dress to finding the right venue, there are so many details to consider. But for most brides, it's all worth it in the end. The feeling of walking down the aisle and marrying your soulmate is simply priceless. But it wasn't easy for her. Planning a wedding while your partner is deployed can be a daunting task. You have to make decisions about everything from the guest list to the menu to the flowers, all without your partner there to help guide you. It can be stressful, but it can also be a great opportunity for you to get creative and really make the day your own. You have to be resourceful and rely on your friends and family for support, and in the end, it will all be worth it when you see the look on your partner's face as you walk down the aisle. Weddings are a celebration of love and commitment, and they're also a time to honor the military service of those who have served or are currently serving. For couples like the bride and groom in this video, it's a chance to showcase the sacrifices that have been made and to show support for those who have served or are currently serving. It's a way to say thank you for their service and to recognize the challenges they've faced. By incorporating military traditions and symbolism into the wedding, couples can create a meaningful and memorable day that honors both their love for each other and the service of their loved ones. Overall, the video is a heartwarming reminder of the importance of family, love, and service. It's a tribute to the strength and resilience of those who serve in the military and a celebration of the power of love to bring people together. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories. Until next time. A bride was completely stunned when she turned around to see who had come to join her for her very first dance at her wedding reception. And she was even more surprised when she realized who it really was. You won't believe what happened next. Her dad was stationed overseas and no one thought he could make it back in time for the wedding. But he did something no one expected. A bride was completely stunned when she turned around to see who had come to join her for her very first dance at her wedding reception. And she was even more surprised when she realized who it really was. You won't believe what happened next. It was every girl's dream to have their father walk them down the aisle on their big day. And this bride was no exception. She had dreamed of this moment for so long, and she couldn't wait for it to become a reality. Her dad would always tell her how beautiful she looked whenever she got all dressed up, and he would even get a little choked up with emotion. So she knew that he would be very emotional on her big day. He had raised her to be an intelligent, confident young woman, and he was so proud of the person that she had become. Unfortunately, her dad worked for the military, and he was stationed overseas on a very important mission. He was due back home in a few months, but no one expected him to come back any sooner than that. And this meant that the bride wouldn't get to have her dad walk her down the aisle because he simply wouldn't be there. She tried to stay positive and told herself that he would be able to make it back for the wedding. But deep down, she was very disappointed. However, on the day of the wedding, the bride was getting ready in her bridal suite when she heard some commotion outside. She decided to ignore it and focus on getting ready because she didn't want to be late. Soon enough, though, someone walked into the bridal suite and told her that she needed to come see something. She had a feeling that something was wrong, but she couldn't have imagined just how right she was. When she opened the door and stepped out, she couldn't believe what she was seeing. All of the bridesmaids and female relatives were standing by the window and staring outside. Curious, the bride went to join them and saw a helicopter land outside. Everyone started screaming and applauding, and the bride felt like she might faint. This couldn't be good. The helicopter door opened, and out stepped a man in uniform. It was the bride's dad. He had made it, but this wasn't possible. He was supposed to be overseas. How could he have possibly made it back in time? She ran to him and threw her arms around him, hugging him tightly. She couldn't stop crying, and she kept asking him how he had gotten back so quickly. But he just smiled and told her not to worry about it. He said that he had a lot of important people helping him out, and that was all that mattered. She knew that he was hiding something from her, but she decided to let it go for now. She was just happy that he was there. Then it was time for the bride to walk down the aisle. She took her dad's arm and they started making their way to the altar. As they walked, she looked up at him and thanked him for being there. He squeezed her hand and told her that he would always be there for her. No matter where he was or what he was doing, he would never miss one of the most important days in her life. When they reached the altar, the bride's mom was waiting with tears of joy in her eyes. She hugged both of them, and then the ceremony began. As the bride and groom exchanged vows and rings, the bride's dad couldn't help but cry. He was so happy to see his little girl all grown up and starting her new chapter in life. After the ceremony, everyone headed to the reception where the real party began. The bride and groom had their first dance as husband and wife, and then it was time for the father-daughter dance. The bride was so excited. This was the one dance that she had been looking forward to the most. She had chosen a special song that had always reminded her of her dad. When the song started playing, she took her dad's hand and they went out onto the dance floor. They danced slowly and gracefully, and the bride couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. But then something unexpected happened. The bride's dad suddenly stopped dancing and turned around. He gestured for her to keep going, and then he walked away. She was confused, but she didn't want to ruin the moment, so she just kept dancing. Then she saw her dad talking to someone outside the window. He had brought someone else out onto the dance floor with him. The bride was confused, but then she saw who it was and she gasped. It was her mom. But how could this be? Her parents had divorced when she was just a little girl, and she hadn't seen her mom since. The bride couldn't believe her eyes. She had no idea that her dad had been in contact with her mom, and she couldn't understand why he had brought her mom out to dance with him. She was furious, and she started to cry. She felt betrayed by her dad, and she didn't know what to do. Should she go over and confront him? What should she say? She was so upset that she didn't notice the groom come up behind her and put his arm around her shoulder. He asked her what was wrong, and she told him about her dad and how he had brought her mom out to dance with him. He listened patiently, and then he told her that he understood how she felt. He said that it must have been a shock to see her mom after all this time, but he also said that she needed to give her dad a chance to explain. Maybe there was a good reason why he had done this. The groom was right. The bride knew that she couldn't keep blaming her dad without hearing his side of the story. So she took a deep breath and went to find him. When she finally found him, he was sitting outside by himself, looking out at the dancing lights of the city. She sat down next to him and asked him why he had brought her mom to the wedding. He sighed, and then he started telling her what had happened. He told her that he had gotten back in touch with her mom after he had found out that she had gotten sick. He said that he had no idea that she was this sick, and he felt guilty for not being there for her. That's why he had asked her to come to the wedding. He said that he wanted her to know that he loved her and that he would always be there for her, no matter what. The bride was moved by her dad's words. She hugged him tightly and told him that she loved him too. She knew that he hadn't meant to hurt her, and she was just happy that he was there now. She went back out to the dance floor and joined her mom and dad for their dance. The three of them danced together as a family, and the bride couldn't have been happier. She knew that her dad had done the right thing by bringing her mom to the wedding. It had been a shock, but it had also been a blessing. She was grateful that her dad loved her so much, and she was grateful that he had made the effort to bring her mom to the wedding. It had been a perfect day. As the night wore on, the bride couldn't stop thinking about how perfect her wedding had been. She had gotten to spend the day with the two people she loved most in the world, and she had made some amazing memories that she would cherish for the rest of her life. She leaned against her husband and told him how grateful she was for everything. He wrapped his arms around her and told her that he loved her. They spent the rest of the night dancing and celebrating with their friends and family, and it was truly the happiest day of their lives. For the first time in their lives, sisters don't see each other for 5 years until the youngest sister's wedding day. Their parents were against it, but they still got married secretly. 5 years later, the bride was getting ready for her big day with her bridesmaids when she heard someone walk up behind her and say, "Do you know what time it is?" She turned around and saw the person she thought she'd never see again. The bride's sister had come back in uniform. Who would have guessed? How did the groom react to this surprise? Let's find out in today's story. A bride's best friend surprised her at her wedding by showing up in a Navy uniform. The bride was totally caught off guard. What happened next was even more surprising. It was a beautiful summer wedding. The church was filled with excited guests waiting for the bride to arrive. All eyes were on the white door as it slowly opened, and there she was walking down the aisle on the arm of her father. She looked stunning in her white dress and veil. The groom, who was standing at the altar with his best man, couldn't help but smile from ear to ear. He was so happy to finally be marrying the love of his life. The ceremony was beautiful, and everyone was in tears by the time the bride and groom had exchanged their vows. The reception was even more fun. The newlyweds danced the night away with their friends and family. Everyone wished them all the happiness in the world as they celebrated their special day. However, there was one person who wasn't there to celebrate. The bride's younger sister, who had been in the Navy for the past 5 years, had been given orders to report to active duty on the day of the wedding and couldn't get it changed. She had tried everything, but there was no way she could get out of it. She was so sorry that she wouldn't be able to make it to her sister's big day, but she had to do her duty. She knew that her sister would understand. The bride had always been very supportive of her sister's decision to join the Navy. She knew that her sister was brave and that she was doing what she needed to do for herself. The bride had served in the Navy for 10 years before being honorably discharged. She knew firsthand the sacrifices that her sister was making, and she was proud of her. The bride and her sister hadn't seen each other in 5 years since the sister left for boot camp. The bride had tried to visit her sister a few times, but she was always on deployment. When the sister came home on leave, the bride was always busy with work and school, and they never had a chance to catch up. They had been close growing up, but the distance and the bride's own life had kept them apart. But the bride wasn't the only one who was surprised. The groom was also shocked when he saw who was standing at the back of the church during the ceremony. He had no idea that the bride had a sister in the Navy. He had never met her before. He was curious, but he didn't want to make a scene. He knew that this was supposed to be about the bride, and he didn't want to take away from her special day. After the ceremony, the groom went up to the bride and asked her about her sister. The bride was blushing, but she was happy to talk about her sister. She told the groom how proud she was of her and how much she missed her. She told him about all the fun they had growing up and how close they were. The groom listened intently, and he could tell that the bride really loved her sister. The bride's sister had been in the Navy for 5 years. She had traveled all over the world and seen amazing things. She had made lifelong friends and learned a lot. She was proud of her service, and she was proud to be a sailor. But she was also tired. She had been away from home for too long, and she missed her family. She was glad that she was finally coming home, but she was nervous about what to expect. When she arrived at the airport, she was met with a huge surprise. Her entire family was there to greet her, including her sister and the groom. The bride's sister was shocked. She had no idea that her family would be there. She was so surprised and happy. She hugged them all tightly and thanked them for coming. The bride's sister was a little nervous about meeting the groom for the first time. She had heard so much about him from her sister, and she wanted to make a good impression. She knew that he was the one who had made her sister so happy, and she wanted to thank him for that. When she finally met him, she could see why her sister had fallen in love with him. He was kind, funny, and handsome. She knew that he was a good guy, and she was happy that her sister was marrying him. The wedding reception was full of surprises. The bride's sister had a few tricks up her sleeve that she had been planning for months. When it was time for the first dance, the bride's sister surprised the couple by joining them on the dance floor. She had learned a special dance routine just for this occasion, and everyone was impressed. The bride and groom were so grateful to their sister for the surprise. They knew that she had put a lot of time and effort into it, and it showed. As the night wore on, the bride's sister continued to surprise the guests. She had a talent for making people laugh, and she kept everyone entertained. She even got the groom's best man to join her in a funny skit that had everyone in stitches. The bride and groom were so happy that their sister had come home for the wedding. They knew that it meant a lot to her, and they were grateful that she had made the sacrifice to be there. In the end, the bride's sister was the hit of the reception. She had brought so much energy and fun to the party, and everyone was asking her where she had been hiding for the past 5 years. The bride and groom were so happy that she had been able to make it home, and they knew that it was a day that none of them would ever forget. After the wedding, the bride's sister had to report to active duty. She was sad to be leaving her family again, but she knew that she had to do her duty. Before she left, she promised her sister that she would visit again soon. The bride and groom were sad to see her go, but they knew that she would be back. Over the next few months, the bride's sister became a local hero. Her story had been featured in several newspapers and magazines, and she was invited to speak at schools and events. She was so proud of her service, and she was proud to be a role model for other young women. She missed her family, but she knew that she was making them proud. One day, the bride's sister came home on leave. She was so happy to be back. She spent time with her family, catching up on all the gossip and sharing stories of her travels. She was so glad to be able to see them again. As the years went on, the bride's sister continued to serve in the Navy. She traveled all over the world and saw amazing things. She made lifelong friends and learned a lot. She was proud of her service, and she was proud to be a sailor. But she never forgot her family. She knew that no matter where she went, they would always be there for her. And she knew that she could always count on them. One day, the bride's sister came home from deployment to find out that her family had a surprise for her. They had all gathered together to tell her that they were so proud of her and her service. They had planned a special ceremony to give her a hero's welcome home. The bride's sister was overwhelmed with emotion. She had no idea that her family had been planning this. She was so touched by their love and support, and she knew that she was truly blessed to have them in her life. As the years passed, the bride's sister continued to serve in the Navy. She traveled all over the world and saw amazing things. She made lifelong friends and learned a lot. She was proud of her service, and she was proud to be a sailor. But she never forgot her family. She knew that no matter where she went, they would always be there for her, and she could always count on them. What are your thoughts on this story? Do you think the sister should have been able to get out of going to active duty on her wedding day? Or do you think the Navy has the right to call her away? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this story, please be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. We would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we hope you have a great day. The bride's face was priceless after what her brother did. A military wedding is always an exciting event because of all the traditions that come along with it. Every branch has its own customs, but they all have one thing in common: honoring those who serve. One Air Force brother decided to surprise his sister at her rehearsal dinner. He crashed the party and gave her away at the altar. The bride was stunned when she saw him standing there. How did he get there? Was this planned or an impulse decision? Let's find out. It was the day before the wedding, and the entire family was gathered at the reception area. The bride and her mother were talking about how beautiful the flowers were and how everything seemed to be going perfectly. The bride had found the love of her life, and soon they would start their lives together. She couldn't wait for the ceremony the next day. Her brother was supposed to be there, but he wasn't in the service anymore. He left a few years back. In fact, no one had heard from him since. Where could he be? Was he avoiding the wedding because he still harbored resentment over something that happened in the past? Maybe. She remembered him being a bit of a bully when they were kids. One time he had taken her favorite doll and thrown it into the toilet. Then he had flushed it. She was only 4 years old, and she had cried for days. Her parents had gotten really angry at him and grounded him for 2 weeks. That was the last time she had seen him. He must have left home as soon as he turned 18 because she had never seen him again. When she did hear from him, it was through mutual friends. They said he was doing well in the service, but no one knew where he was stationed. When her friends told her he was coming home on leave, she got excited. Finally, she would get to see him again. But then she learned he wasn't coming to the wedding. What did that mean? Had he finally snapped? She tried not to think about it too much. If he didn't show up, well, there was nothing she could do about it. The ceremony was about to begin. She took a deep breath and looked around. Her eyes searched the crowd, looking for her brother. There he was. But what was he doing? He was walking toward the exit. Why didn't he stay and watch the ceremony? Maybe he had changed. Maybe he was bitter about not being asked to participate. She didn't know. But then he stopped. He leaned against the doorframe and watched them enter the reception area. Was he having second thoughts? Did he want to come in? Well, the bride didn't want him to. She had always been shy around him, and now that he was here, she was even more nervous. The groom put his arm around her shoulder and told her everything would be all right. She appreciated his support, but she was still worried. Was her brother planning to ruin her big night? She watched him closely, and so did everyone else. As soon as the bride and her father sat down, all eyes were on the door. Everyone was wondering what the brother was up to. Some thought he might burst in and cause a scene. Others thought he was just watching from afar. No one knew what he was thinking until he made the first move. He stepped into the room, holding a bouquet of white roses. All eyes were on him. The bride couldn't believe it. Was this real, or was she dreaming? The brother walked toward the couple and stopped in front of them. He handed the bouquet to the bride and said, "I'm sorry I'm late, sis, but I had to make sure you were okay. Mom and Dad told me you were getting married, and I just had to come and see it for myself." The bride couldn't speak. She was stunned by her brother's sudden appearance. The groom, on the other hand, was furious. He stood up and started yelling at the brother. "What are you doing here? You weren't invited. Get out before I call security." Whoa, calm down," the brother said. "I'm just here to give my sister away. Is that a problem?" The groom stopped yelling and looked at the bride. She was crying. "Don't listen to him, sis." "It's all right," the brother said. "Let me take you down the aisle and we'll make some new memories together." He extended his hand to her and she took it. The groom was furious, but the bride's parents intervened and calmed him down. "I'm sorry about how he behaved, but he's just protective of you," her father said. "It's all right, I understand," the groom replied. Then it was time for the ceremony. The bride's brother walked her down the aisle and gave her to the groom. He looked at them both and said, "Take care of her, brother-in-law. She's the best sister a guy could ask for." The groom smiled and replied, "I will. Thank you." After the ceremony, the bride and groom went to the reception area. They were surprised to find a small group of people waiting for them. It was the bride's brother and some of his friends from the service. They had come to surprise her. The bride was so happy to see them. She hugged each one of them and thanked them for coming. "We all wanted to meet the little sis we'd heard so much about," one of the men said with a smile. The bride blushed and looked at her brother. He was grinning from ear to ear. The bride's brother was the best man at the wedding. He gave a speech that had everyone laughing and crying. He told funny stories about the bride when she was a kid and ended the speech with a serious note. "I'm sorry I wasn't there for you growing up," he said, "but I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere." The bride was moved to tears by his words. She hugged him tightly. "I'm just glad you're here," she whispered, and that's when the bride knew her brother had truly changed. He was no longer the bully she remembered. He was a kind, caring man who loved his family. Later that night, the bride and groom were dancing in the middle of the dance floor. They were surrounded by their friends and family. The bride looked at her brother and smiled. She was so happy he had come to her wedding. "Thank you for crashing my wedding," she said with a laugh. "You really surprised me." The brother smiled back. "I'm sorry I kept it a secret, but I wanted to make sure everything was perfect for you. You deserve it." The bride and groom hugged. Then they joined the other guests on the dance floor. They danced the night away, celebrating their love and the love of family. The bride and her brother hadn't always had a close relationship, but they had always had each other's back. When push came to shove, they were family and nothing could break that bond. What did you think of the story? Let us know in the comments below. Please like and share if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe. We wish the newlyweds all the best in their future together. This is one of the most incredible moments that has ever happened at a wedding reception. A bride was shocked when she received a special message from someone she thought was really far away. At her wedding reception, the bride gets a surprise hologram from her dad who's currently deployed overseas. He appears in hologram form and delivers a message to his little girl. She is so shocked, and very few people can hold back their tears as they watch the emotional moment. In fact, this is something that many brides dream of, but never actually expect to happen because it is just too perfect. So, what exactly happened here? Well, let me tell you. The bride's father had a very important mission to complete for his country. This is why he couldn't be there to walk his daughter down the aisle on her special day. But that didn't mean he wanted to miss out on all the fun. The bride's father had a secret up his sleeve, and no one knew about it until the very last second. In fact, the bride was completely shocked when she saw who was coming towards her. The groom must have helped set everything up with the wedding planner and the rest of the family. They all knew about the big surprise, but the bride had no clue. When the time came, the bride was in the middle of cutting her wedding cake with her husband when the music suddenly changed. Everyone stopped talking and turned their attention to the source of the music. That's when they saw a mysterious box being carried into the room. The box was quite large and decorated very beautifully. It was covered with a white cloth, and everyone was wondering what was inside. The bride was completely oblivious to what was happening. She had no idea what was inside the box or why everyone had suddenly gone silent. The bride looked confused, but the groom quickly placed a hand on her shoulder to comfort her. He mouthed the words, "It's okay," to reassure her. As the box was placed on a table, the bride's mother stepped forward. She slowly lifted the cloth to reveal a silver-colored sphere inside. The guests gasped as the sphere started to glow brightly. The bride's jaw dropped in surprise. She had no idea what was going on. The mother then reached out and pressed a button on the sphere. Suddenly, an image started to form inside. The guests leaned closer to get a better look. They were all on the edge of their seats with anticipation. Moments later, they saw the image of a man in uniform. He had a kind face and was smiling warmly. The guests erupted in applause. The bride couldn't believe her eyes. She was in shock. The man in uniform was none other than the bride's father. He was currently deployed overseas on a mission. He had been gone for months, but now he was back. Or at least his image was. How did he manage to do this? The bride's father spoke to his daughter through the hologram and congratulated her on her wedding. He told her how much he loved her and how proud he was of the woman she had become. He apologized for not being able to attend the wedding in person, but said that he was there in spirit. The bride's eyes filled with tears as she listened to her father's words. She missed him so much, and it was so touching to hear from him on her special day. The hologram flickered, and the bride could see the emotion on her father's face. It felt like he was really there in the room with them. The bride's mother stepped forward and placed a hand on her shoulder. She was crying tears of joy. The bride took a deep breath and tried to compose herself. She knew that her father was right. He was with them in spirit, and that was all that mattered. The bride then turned to her new husband and smiled. She was grateful to have him by her side on her special day. She knew that her father would have wanted her to be happy, and she was doing just that. After the hologram message ended, the bride and groom shared a long embrace. They were surrounded by their friends and family who were all cheering and celebrating. The bride's father's message had been a perfect surprise and had made the wedding even more memorable. It was a moment that they would never forget. The bride still couldn't believe that her father had managed to send her a message on her special day. It was such a touching gesture and had brought tears to her eyes. As the night wore on, the bride danced with her mother and remembered all the times her father had taught her how to dance when she was younger. She knew that he was with them in spirit, and that made her feel better about not being able to attend the wedding. The bride and groom also danced together, and they couldn't help but think about how lucky they were to have found each other. The groom knew how much the bride's father had meant to her and had helped plan the surprise hologram as a way of making her feel special on her day. As the wedding reception drew to a close, the bride and groom thanked their guests for coming and celebrating with them. They knew that the surprise hologram had been the highlight of the night and had made their special day even more unforgettable. Looking back, the bride couldn't believe how lucky she was to have had such a wonderful wedding day. The surprise hologram from her father had been the perfect touch and had made her feel so loved on her special day. It was a moment that she would cherish forever. This moment was truly special and captured the love between a father and his daughter. Even though the father was unable to be present in person, he still managed to make his presence felt through the hologram. It was a touching gesture that showed the depth of his love for his daughter and his pride in her accomplishments. The bride's reaction was also heartwarming. Despite the initial shock and surprise, she handled the situation with grace and poise. Her composure and ability to remain calm in the face of unexpected circumstances were truly admirable. The bride's relationship with her father was clearly a close one, and the hologram served as a reminder of the bond they shared. Overall, the story is a testament to the power of love and the lengths a father will go to for his daughter. The bride's father, his dedication and thoughtfulness were evident in his decision to send her a hologram message on her special day. It was a unique and unforgettable way to express his love and support for his daughter, and a moment that she will cherish for the rest of her life. If you enjoyed this story, please don't hesitate to show your support. Your support motivates us to continue sharing these heartwarming stories with you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to bringing you more touching tales in the future. Before we wrap up today's video, we want to share another incredible story that's sure to touch your heart. Click on the video that's on your screen now and get ready to be amazed. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on our latest uploads. We've got plenty of heartwarming content waiting for you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Surprise Formation. March. Soldier's Honor. Groom with March In. It's not every day that a groom gets to experience the shock and awe of seeing a formation of soldiers marching in his honor. But for one lucky groom, the dream became a reality at his wedding reception. In this video, we get to see the moment he realized what was happening and the heartwarming reaction that followed. Keep watching to find out why these soldiers were there and what they had planned for their comrade. When you think of a traditional wedding, you might picture a white dress, flower girls, a church ceremony, and a happy couple exchanging vows in front of family and friends. But this wedding took things up a notch with an unexpected surprise that left the groom in disbelief. Imagine celebrating your big day with your closest friends and family when suddenly a group of soldiers marches into the reception hall, each step echoing the solemnity of the occasion. Their presence commands attention, drawing everyone's gaze towards them. The groom stands transfixed, his eyes widening in surprise as he tries to comprehend what's happening. But it's not just any group of soldiers. They're his comrades, men and women he's served with, sharing a bond forged in the fires of camaraderie and hardship. The significance of their presence hits him like a wave, bringing back memories of shared experiences, battles fought, and lives intertwined. Among them is his best man, a steadfast friend who has been by his side through thick and thin, both in military service and in life. Their eyes meet across the crowd, and the best man offers a reassuring smile, a silent acknowledgement of the emotions surging through their friend. But the surprise isn't over yet. As the soldiers draw closer, they form a circle around the groom, their faces etched with seriousness, their uniforms crisp and impeccable. It's a moment of unity, a testament to their brotherhood. Then, as if on cue, the music swells, filling the hall with a powerful melody that resonates with the weight of the moment. It's a song that speaks of courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bonds of military camaraderie. As the music reaches its crescendo, The soldiers take a step forward, presenting the groom with a symbol of their respect and admiration, a token of their appreciation for his service and sacrifice. It's a gesture that transcends words, speaking volumes about the deep bond they share. The groom stands in awe, his emotions overflowing. He knows he doesn't deserve such an honor, but in that moment, it's all he can do to contain the tears that threaten to spill. The video doesn't end there. No, sir, it continues to capture the raw emotions that follow. The bride, too, is moved to tears, her eyes shining with pride and gratitude for the sacrifices her husband has made and the unwavering support of his comrades. The joy and love in the room are palpable, uniting the couple, their families and friends in a shared experience of pride and appreciation. This isn't just a wedding. It's a celebration of love, life, and the extraordinary bonds that connect us all. This touching moment serves as a reminder of the dedication and selflessness exhibited by those who serve in the armed forces, putting their lives on hold to protect their country and its citizens. These soldiers, ready to drop everything at a moment's notice, epitomize courage, discipline, and unwavering commitment. Their presence at this wedding is a testament to the profound impact their comrade has had on their lives, leaving a lasting impression on all who witness this unique display of camaraderie and respect. Now, let's delve deeper into the details of this remarkable event and the heartwarming story behind it. The surprise formation march was organized by the groom as fellow soldiers in honor of their comrade who was getting married. The soldiers, who had served alongside the groom in various operations and missions, wanted to show their support and appreciation for him on his special day. They arranged to march into the reception hall in unison, catching the groom off guard and creating an unforgettable surprise. The groom, clearly taken aback by the sudden appearance of his comrades, was filled with a mix of emotions. His surprise knew no bounds as he witnessed the precision and pageantry of the soldiers' entrance. The video captures the genuine shock and awe on his face, reflecting the depth of his astonishment. As the soldiers drew closer, the groom's facial expressions changed from surprise to disbelief, then to overwhelming joy and gratitude. The realization that his friends had gone to such lengths to honor him on his wedding day filled him with deep emotion. The bride, too, was deeply touched by the gesture. Her eyes filled with tears as she witnessed the soldier's entrance. She understood the significance of the moment and the bond her husband shared with his comrades. It was a testament to the groom's character and the respect he had earned from his fellow soldiers. The bride's emotional response added a layer of tenderness to the already heartwarming scene. Her tears of joy and pride were a reflection of the deep love and admiration she had for her husband and his military family. The surprise formation march was not just a surprise for the groom and the guests, but also for the wedding reception itself. The arrival of the soldiers transformed the atmosphere of the event, adding a solemn and celebratory touch to the festivities. The guests, including the families of the bride and groom, were in awe of the soldiers' discipline and the heartwarming gesture they had planned. The entire episode became a memorable part of the wedding, creating lasting impressions on everyone present. But how did the groom react to this extraordinary surprise? The video captures his journey through a range of emotions, from the initial shock and disbelief to the overwhelming joy and gratitude. The groom's facial expressions tell a story of their own, reflecting the depth of his astonishment and appreciation. As the soldiers marched into the reception hall, his eyes widened in surprise. The realization that his comrades had come to honor him on his wedding day filled him with a mix of emotions. A slow smile spread across his face as he took in the sight of his fellow soldiers, their presence a testament to their enduring bond and camaraderie. The groom's reaction was not just a personal response to the surprise, but also a tribute to the years of service and sacrifice he had shared with these men and women. It was a recognition of the significant role that his military experience had played in shaping his life and character. His comrades, in turn, found joy in his happiness, their presence at the wedding symbolizing the importance of community, brotherhood, and the enduring power of human connection. Their collective emotions created a powerful atmosphere of unity, respect, and admiration, making this wedding reception a truly extraordinary event. And where did these servicemen come from? The groom must have had some inkling that something was up when his comrades started showing up at the reception. However, the full scope of their surprise remained hidden until the moment they executed their well-coordinated plan. The video captures the element of surprise, showcasing the groom's genuine astonishment as the soldiers entered the hall. The meticulous planning and coordination required for such a surprise formation march highlight the dedication and camaraderie among the soldiers. They had clearly put a lot of thought into making this day special for their friend. The guest of honor's reaction was priceless, underlining the strength of their bond and the significance of the event. It's not often that one gets to see such beautiful displays of camaraderie and respect among servicemen. The surprise formation march was more than just a gesture. It was a testament to the groom's character, leadership skills, and the respect he had earned from his fellow soldiers. It was a reflection of the values instilled in them during their service, emphasizing discipline, unity, and honor. The soldiers' decision to surprise the groom with this extraordinary gesture was a way of showing their appreciation for his dedication and sacrifice. It was a celebration of their shared history, their triumphs, and the challenges they had faced together. The bride and the groom must have felt incredibly honored and humbled by the presence of these brave men and women who had come to celebrate their love and support their friend. The surprise formation march left a lasting impression on the guests as well. It was a reminder of the sacrifices made by servicemen and the profound impact their service has on our lives. It was a moment that transcended the boundaries of a wedding reception, touching the hearts of all who witnessed it. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be part of the armed forces, this video gives you a glimpse into the close bonds formed among servicemen and women. It shows the camaraderie, loyalty, and mutual respect that develop through shared experiences and challenges. Being in the armed forces is more than just a job. It's a way of life. The soldiers in this video embody the values of courage, discipline, and selflessness that are at the core of military service. They demonstrate the sense of duty and unwavering commitment required to protect and defend. The surprise formation march was not just a spectacle. It was a testament to the groom's character and the esteem in which he is held by his comrades. It was a celebration of their shared experiences, their triumphs, and the challenges they had overcome together. The groom must have felt incredibly honored and humbled by the presence of these brave men and women who had come to celebrate their love and support their friend. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below to express your thoughts. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. It's not often that we get to see dads walking their daughters down the aisle on their wedding day. The fact is, most of the time they're just at home eating Pop-Tarts and doing nothing. So, it was extra special for this bride when her firefighter dad surprised her by driving up to her wedding in full gear and then carrying her down the aisle in his fire truck. How awesome is that? No one expected him to show up in full-dress uniform, let alone escort his daughter to the altar in such an extravagant way. It's been almost 3 years since we featured this touching moment between a father and his son, who had a wonderful surprise for his little girl on her first day of school. And now that she's all grown up and getting married, he wanted to be there for her too. You can tell how much this meant to her just from the look on her face. She was completely shocked. The bride explained that her dad is a volunteer firefighter and he drove the fire truck all the way to the ceremony. And although her original plan was to walk down the aisle with both parents, this was definitely a nice surprise. As the bride explained, "My dad is a volunteer firefighter and that is his fire truck. He drove it all the way from our hometown to the venue, which was about an hour away. My mom walked me down the aisle because my dad was unable to attend the ceremony itself, but he wanted to surprise me." She goes on to say, "When my dad arrived, everyone started cheering and taking pictures. My bridesmaids were crying. It was very sweet. It meant a lot to me to have my dad walk me down the aisle." He wasn't able to make it to the ceremony because he had a previous commitment with his fire department, but he made it a point to drive over after that and surprise me. It was so sweet, and I know he would have been there sooner if it wasn't for that. Her dad is a bit of a local hero, having saved many lives during his time as a firefighter. So it's no wonder why his daughter would want him to walk her down the aisle. After all, he is her hero. It must have been a very emotional moment for her when he arrived. The photographer who captured these beautiful images did a great job of making sure that the bride's reaction was included in the photos. As you can see, she is completely taken aback when she sees her dad coming towards her in full gear. The look on her face says it all. Many people commented on how cool this was, with some saying it brought tears to their eyes. This just goes to show that it doesn't matter what you look like or what you wear to your wedding. As long as you have someone special by your side, then that's all that matters. And who could blame her for being emotional? This is her dad, after all. He's the one who has been there for her since day one and will continue to be there for her throughout her entire life. It's clear that these two have a very close relationship, and this photo is a perfect example of that. But the bride wasn't the only one who was happy to see the groom. The groom's mother was also very excited. She said, "I think it's so sweet that the bride's dad was able to surprise her with his presence at the reception. It really meant a lot to her, and it was a nice touch to the celebration." It's not every day that you get to see a bride's reaction to her dad's surprise appearance. So it was really special that this photographer was able to capture it on camera. The groom's mother was so happy for the bride and said that she couldn't imagine a more perfect day. And it looks like the bride and groom had a blast at their wedding. The bride told us that she wouldn't trade this day for the world. She went on to say, "It was so special to have my dad there, even if it was just for a few minutes. It meant the world to me. I couldn't have asked for a better day. Everyone was amazing. The weather was perfect and everything went smoothly. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank the bride and groom for sharing their special day with us. It was an honor to be a part of their celebration, and we wish them nothing but the best in their future together." This story is a reminder that it's the little things in life that matter the most. The bride was so grateful that her dad was able to surprise her at her wedding, even if it was just for a few minutes. It just goes to show that it's the thought that counts. We can only imagine the amount of love and support this family has for each other. It's clear that the bride's dad is very proud of her and wanted to be there for her on her special day. And it looks like the bride feels the same way about him. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with negative news stories, it's nice to take a break and focus on something positive. This story is a breath of fresh air and a reminder to appreciate the good things in life. We hope that this story has inspired you to do something nice for someone else. It doesn't have to be anything big. Just a simple act of kindness can make someone's day. Who knows? Maybe you'll even inspire someone else to pay it forward. As we end this video, we want to thank you for watching and supporting our channel. We're so grateful for your generosity, and we're excited to bring you more heartwarming stories in the future. Before we go, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this story. What do you think of this firefighter dad's surprise? Let us know in the comments below. We can't wait to read your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Coming back to the adorable clip, it's hard to believe that this touching moment was almost ruined by the bride's original plan. If she had stuck to her initial idea of walking down the aisle with both parents, she would have missed out on her dad's surprise appearance. Sometimes things don't go according to plan, but it all works out for the best. It was clear that the bride was very grateful for her dad's surprise, even if it meant that she didn't get to walk down the aisle with both parents. She said, "I was so grateful that my dad was able to surprise me at my wedding. It meant the world to me. Even though it wasn't part of the original plan, I wouldn't trade it for the world." This is a great lesson for all of us. Sometimes the best things in life are the ones we don't plan for, and sometimes surprises can be a good thing. Who knows? Maybe the bride's dad had something to do with the idea of her walking down the aisle alone. After all, he wanted her to have all eyes on her and not be distracted by having both parents by her side. Whatever the case may be, this touching moment was a perfect way to start the bride's married life. It's clear that she has a great relationship with her dad, and that will continue to grow stronger with time. That's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this heartwarming story of a bride who was surprised by her firefighter dad on her special day. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. When a paramedic officer in North Carolina married the love of her life, she had no idea that her husband would be making a surprise appearance at their wedding. Her husband was deployed overseas for 10 long months and was supposed to be away for another 6 before he could come home, but he ended up surprising her by showing up at the reception in full military uniform. This is what happened. The bride, 28-year-old Lauren Summerlin, a paramedic officer in Wilmington, North Carolina, had been engaged to her high school sweetheart, Army Captain William Summerlin, for 2 years. The couple had known each other for more than 12 years after meeting in high school. After dating on and off for several years after graduation, they reconnected in 2019 and soon got engaged. But being together wasn't always easy. After getting hitched in May 2021, William was deployed overseas for 10 long months. He was stationed in Kuwait, and his wife missed him terribly during his deployment. She told Fox, "It was definitely difficult. I knew when we got married that he would probably be gone most of our marriage, at least for the first few years. So it was definitely hard. It was a big adjustment, but we knew it was all worth it." Throughout his deployment, the couple kept in touch with each other through video calls whenever possible. They made sure to talk as often as they could to stay close despite the distance. And now that he was back, they were looking forward to starting their life together as a married couple. However, there was still 1 more year left in William's deployment, but he would be coming back home for a brief period of time to visit his family. So Lauren decided to take advantage of the situation and asked if he could attend her friend's wedding in North Carolina, which was taking place on December. At the same time, he was also going to see his family who lived nearby. So he agreed to go. Meanwhile, Lauren was going to the wedding with her friend, not realizing that her husband was going to be there too. Little did she know that this wedding was going to be a very special occasion for her. On the day of the wedding, Lauren and her friend got ready for the event. While putting on her dress, Lauren couldn't help but think about how much she missed her husband. "I thought it was just going to be like any other wedding," she said. "Little did I know it was gonna be the best wedding I'd ever been to." As she walked into the reception with her friend, she began to wonder where her husband was. She assumed that he was busy with his own family and didn't think much of it. Then, the moment she had been waiting for arrived. It was time for the first dance. As the DJ announced the newly married couple, Lauren and her friend walked onto the dance floor. When she turned around, she saw the most amazing sight. There was her husband standing in front of her in full military uniform. "I couldn't believe my eyes," she said. "It was a huge surprise." Lauren quickly composed herself and walked over to her husband, who was beaming from ear to ear. As soon as she reached him, the two embraced in a tight hug. Lauren couldn't help but cry tears of joy as she looked into her husband's eyes. It felt so surreal to finally have him back in her arms after so many months apart. The bride's happiness was clear for all to see. Everyone in attendance applauded and cheered as the couple took in the moment. The bride's friend was also overjoyed for them. "I was so happy for her because I know how much she's been through during his deployment," she said. "It was really heartwarming to see them reunited." After the first dance, the newlyweds took some time to talk to each other and catch up on everything they had missed. They exchanged stories about their lives since they last saw each other and talked about their plans for the future. Lauren admitted that it was a bit overwhelming to have her husband back after so long. "It was definitely an adjustment period," she said, "but we're getting through it together, and it's all worth it." In fact, the couple had even more exciting news to share with their friends and family. Just a few weeks after the wedding, Lauren announced that she was pregnant. Everyone was shocked and overjoyed for them. The bride's friend said, "I was so excited for them when I heard the news. It's just another blessing on top of their already perfect day." Lauren and William were both thrilled about becoming parents and couldn't wait to start their family. News of the reunion quickly spread around the venue, and soon everyone was celebrating with the happy couple. The bride's friend said, It was such a joyous occasion. Everyone was cheering and taking pictures. It was really special to be a part of that moment. The rest of the wedding reception was filled with laughter, dancing, and good food as everyone celebrated the newlyweds and their joyous reunion. Lauren and William couldn't have asked for a better day. And as the night drew to a close, the couple knew that this was just the beginning of their happily ever after. The bride's friend added, "It was truly a magical day, and I am so happy for Lauren and William. They are such a wonderful couple, and I wish them all the best in their future together." After the wedding, the happy couple went on their honeymoon to Hawaii. They spent a week in paradise and made some unforgettable memories. "It was the perfect way to start our marriage," Lauren said. "We relaxed on the beach, went snorkeling, and just enjoyed each other's company. When they returned home, the two of them moved into their new house and began planning for the future." "We're still getting settled, but it's been great to finally be home," Lauren said. "We're looking forward to starting our family and can't wait to welcome our baby." Speaking about her husband, she said, "He's the best thing that has ever happened to me. I couldn't ask for a more loving and supportive partner. We've been through a lot together, but it's made our bond even stronger. I feel so lucky to have him in my life." William also expressed his love for his wife, saying, "She's my best friend and the love of my life. I can't imagine my life without her. I'm so grateful that we finally get to start our life together as a married couple." And as for their future, the couple is looking forward to starting their family and raising children together. "We want to give our kids the same values and morals that we were raised with," Lauren said. "We want to create a loving and supportive home where they can grow up feeling safe and nurtured." The story of this couple is truly inspiring. Despite the challenges they faced during William's deployment, they were able to stay strong and committed to each other. Their reunion at the wedding was a beautiful testament to their love and commitment. It's a reminder that no matter how hard things may seem, as long as you have love and commitment, you can get through anything. If you're a fan of this channel, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on this incredible story. We appreciate your support and hope you continue to tune in for more amazing content. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. In what has become one of the most touching stories of brotherhood ever witnessed, a guard soldier surprised his sister who was getting married by delivering her bouquet via drone. The clip of this beautiful moment has since gone viral. The military officer was at his post when he heard that his little sister was getting married. He wanted to surprise her by giving her a special wedding gift. So he came up with an idea to deliver the bouquet of flowers she will use during the ceremony from above in a drone. But pulling off such an operation is not easy, and so he reached out to his fellow soldiers for assistance. They all agreed, and together they made it happen. In fact, they did even more than he expected. When the big moment arrived, the groom had just finished his vows and the bride was about to say yes when suddenly a loud whirring noise filled the air. Everyone turned their heads towards the source of the commotion. To their amazement, they saw a drone flying towards the bride with a bouquet in its hold. As the crowd watched in suspense, the drone successfully landed near the altar, completing its mission. But the real surprise came when the newlyweds opened the basket. Inside, they found a note that read, "Congratulations to my favorite sister from her favorite brother." The bride was deeply moved by her brother's thoughtful gesture. She couldn't believe he had gone through all the trouble to surprise her on her special day. It was clear that the bond between them was unbreakable. Touched by the heartwarming scene, the guests applauded and cheered for the happy couple. The bride's joy knew no bounds. She was grateful to have such a loving and caring brother. The entire wedding party became even more memorable thanks to the drone delivery of flowers. Here are some reactions from people on social media after they watched the video. One person wrote, "What a great surprise. Kudos to the military man who made this possible. This is how much a man loves his sister. If only there were more men like him in this world." Another person added, "This is why it's important to serve in the military. These guys sacrifice so much for our safety and happiness. They don't get enough credit for the good things they do. Kudos to the military." One other person said, If your brother can't make it to your wedding because he's serving in the military, then send him in a drone. How beautiful is that? What a wonderful gesture. Kudos to the military. May God bless you all. And this other person also reacted, saying, "So sweet. That was a beautiful moment. You could see the love and admiration he has for his sister. She must feel so proud to have such a wonderful brother. Thank you for sharing this heartwarming video. Watch the video to the end, and let us know what you think about this story in the comments section below. We know you enjoyed the video if you made it this far, so don't forget to click on the like button to show us you approve. We would really appreciate it. Also, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of our future uploads. We hope to see you again next time. Until then, stay safe and take care. A brother proposes to his deaf sister, and she says yes without knowing. A brother named Jack had always dreamed of seeing his younger sister, Sarah, get married. Although their parents had passed away when they were younger and he had to raise her on his own, their bond was unbreakable. From teaching her how to ride a bike to walking her home from school, he was always there for her. As Sarah grew older, she developed feelings for a guy named Tom. He was everything a girl could ask for in a husband, kind, funny, and handsome. Jack knew that when the time came, Tom would make Sarah happy. He just hoped she wouldn't be too heartbroken when she had to say goodbye to him and move away to start a new life with her husband. On the day of the wedding, Jack was overcome with emotion. Looking at his little sister dressed up as a bride, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. But as the ceremony began, his heart sank. During the vows, Sarah looked directly at him and mouthed the words, "I do," without realizing he had no idea what she was saying. Her hearing loss had made communication difficult between them over the years. Even though they had learned sign language, verbal communication was still easier. Jack had never thought much of it before, but now he realized that she might not be able to hear him say his vows. Suddenly, an idea struck him. He pulled out his phone and typed, "I love you, Sarah. Marry Tom." Then he showed it to her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she read his message. For a moment, everything seemed to stand still. Then she nodded her head slowly and mouthed the words, "Yes, I will marry him." At that moment, Jack knew he had done the right thing. Seeing his sister so happy, he couldn't have asked for anything more. After the ceremony, when everyone was celebrating, Jack took Sarah aside and told her how much he loved her and how proud he was to see her get married. She hugged him tightly and thanked him for being the best brother a girl could ask for. In that moment, their bond was stronger than ever before. Despite the challenges they had faced, they knew that nothing could break the connection they shared. Sarah and Tom were excited to start their new life together. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to face whatever challenges came their way as long as they had each other. A few months later, Sarah and Tom were expecting their first child. They couldn't wait to start a family and raise children of their own. Jack was thrilled at the thought of becoming an uncle and promised to be there for his sister and her family every step of the way. He knew that no matter what happened, their bond as siblings would remain unbreakable. When Jack proposed to his deaf sister, he had no idea how she would react. He had been planning this moment for weeks, trying to figure out the perfect way to ask her. Finally, he decided to go all out and rented out her favorite restaurant, decorated it with candles and rose petals, and hired a string quartet to play her favorite songs. When Sarah arrived, she was stunned. She couldn't believe her brother had gone to all this trouble just to propose to her. He got down on one knee and pulled out a beautiful ring. Then he began to speak, his voice shaking slightly. "Sarah," he said, "you are the most important person in my life. I have loved you since the day you were born, and I will continue to love you for the rest of my life. Will you do me the honor of becoming my wife?" Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes as she looked at her brother. She couldn't believe how lucky she was to have him in her life. However, she didn't respond. She remained silent, staring at him with tears streaming down her face. Jack's heart sank. He had no idea what to do. Had he done something wrong? Was she mad at him? Just when he was about to give up hope, Sarah finally spoke. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, I will marry you." Jack couldn't believe his ears. He had never been happier in his life. He put the ring on her finger and they embraced tightly. At that moment, nothing else mattered. All that Jack could think about was how much he loved his sister and how he couldn't wait to spend the rest of his life with her. At first glance, this image looks like any other wedding photo. The bride is stunning in white, her eyes are locked on the groom, and her father walks proudly by her side. But when you take a closer look at the man's face, you can't help but crack a smile. You see, this isn't the bride's dad at all. It's actually her Coast Guard uncle who was off on a mission, hundreds of miles away from home. But he surprised everyone by appearing at his niece's wedding, even though he wasn't invited. Coast Guard uncle lives vicariously through his niece. He holds her hand down the aisle. Michael had been dreading this day for months. He knew it was coming, but he hoped against hope that something or someone would stop it. But no one came to his rescue, and now here he was following his captain's orders. Michael was a man with a big heart and an even bigger beard. He was known by all as the Coast Guard Uncle. And there was a reason for that nickname. You see, Michael didn't have any nieces or nephews of his own, so he took an interest in his younger brother's children. He loved them as if they were his own and doted on them whenever he got the chance. Michael was especially close to his niece, Sarah, and she was his pride and joy. Now, Sarah was getting married and Michael was tasked with escorting her down the aisle. It wasn't that her father wasn't around. In fact, he was standing right next to Michael, looking just as nervous as he was. But the truth was, her dad had recently had an accident and was unable to put any weight on his foot. So Michael stepped in and volunteered to walk his niece down the aisle. He had no idea how much this would affect her. Sarah had always dreamed of having her father walk her down the aisle. And even though her dad was the best man at her wedding, she couldn't imagine anyone else doing this important job. She tried to explain this to Michael, but he wouldn't hear it. "Nonsense," he said. "You're my niece, and I'm honored to escort you down the aisle. Your father can rest, and let me handle this." Michael was adamant about this, so Sarah didn't press the issue further. But deep down, she felt her uncle would be making a fool out of her on her special day. The wedding day arrived, and everything seemed to be going according to plan. The ceremony was beautiful, and everyone was taking their places. As Michael approached Sarah, she could see the love and pride in his eyes. For a moment, she forgot about her worries and embraced her uncle's kindness. But as soon as she stepped into the spotlight, Sarah's doubts came flooding back. She couldn't help but think that her uncle didn't belong there. He was too loud and boisterous, and he kept making inappropriate jokes. It was supposed to be her moment, and yet her uncle was turning it into a comedy show. Michael was oblivious to his niece's feelings. He beamed at the guests, waved to the photographer, and even did a little dance move or two. By the time they reached the altar, Sarah was mortified. She wanted to disappear. Her dream wedding had turned into a nightmare, and all because of her silly uncle. But then something unexpected happened. As the ceremony began, Michael leaned over to Sarah and whispered something in her ear. At first, she was confused, but then she understood what he was saying. With tears in her eyes, she nodded her head in agreement. When it was time for her father to walk her down the aisle, Michael stopped in his tracks. He turned around, looked at Sarah's dad, and gestured for him to take his place. Then he stepped aside and watched as the bride's dad proudly walked his daughter down the aisle. As Sarah approached the altar, she saw the love and pride in her father's eyes. For a moment, she forgot about her worries and embraced her father's kindness. She knew her uncle had made a fool out of her earlier, but now she understood why he had done it. He had done it because he loved her and wanted her to be happy. Michael was beaming at the sight of his niece and her dad together. He couldn't help but feel a sense of pride knowing that he had played a part in making this moment possible. As Sarah and her dad reached the altar, he leaned over to her mom and whispered, "I may have made a fool out of your daughter, but I think it was worth it." She smiled and replied, "It was, Michael. Thank you for being there for her." Michael was touched by his sister-in-law's words. He knew he had made a mistake by trying to take over her father's role, but he had only done it because he cared about Sarah. As the ceremony continued, Michael watched as his niece exchanged vows with her fiancé. He couldn't help but feel a sense of joy knowing that she had found someone who loved her as much as he did. When the time came for the bride and groom to kiss, Michael wiped a tear from his eye. He was so happy for his niece and wished her a lifetime of happiness. After the ceremony, Michael approached Sarah and her new husband and congratulated them. He gave them both a hug and told them how happy he was for them. Sarah was still a bit embarrassed about her uncle's behavior during the ceremony, but she couldn't stay mad at him for long. She knew he had only done it because he loved her. "Thank you for walking me down the aisle, Uncle Michael," she said with a smile. "It meant a lot to me." "Nonsense, child," he replied. "You know I'd do anything for you." As the reception began, Michael joined the other guests in celebrating Sarah and her new husband. He danced, he ate, and he drank, and he made sure to stay clear of the spotlight. He knew his niece's day was about her and her husband, not about him. By the end of the night, Michael was exhausted but happy. He had made a fool out of his niece on her special day, but he knew it was all in good fun. He had only done it because he loved her and wanted her to be happy. As he drove home, Michael couldn't help but smile. He may not have been able to escort his niece down the aisle, but he had been there for her in his own special way. And that was all that mattered. A few weeks later, Michael was looking through some of the wedding photos when he came across one that made him smile. It was a photo of him, Sarah, and her dad. They were all standing next to each other and smiling for the camera. Michael's arm was slung around Sarah's shoulder and her dad's hand was resting on his. Michael couldn't help but feel a sense of pride when he looked at the photo. He knew he had made a mistake by trying to take over her dad's role at the wedding, but he had only done it because he cared about Sarah. And, in the end, it had all worked out for the best. He leaned over and whispered to Sarah's dad, "I know I made a fool out of you on your special day, but I think it was worth it." Sarah's dad smiled and replied, "It was, Michael. You were just looking out for me." Michael shook his head. "No, I was looking out for myself. I wanted to make sure I got to spend as much time with my favorite niece as possible." They both laughed and raised their glasses in a toast to Sarah and her new husband. From that day on, Michael made sure to stay out of the spotlight at family events. He knew his niece and nephews were all grown up and it was time for them to take center stage. But he was always there in the background, ready to offer his love and support whenever they needed it. After all, he was their Coast Guard uncle. This is a beautiful sight to see as this groom leaves his venue with his brand new wife. But there's something special about today that even he didn't see coming. As he makes his way through the crowd, he has no idea what's in store for him. What he thought was going to be a simple exit ends up being one of the greatest surprises of his life. And it's all caught on camera. We can see him making his way to the door here. And let's take a look at how they captured this moment. This is such an exciting time for everyone involved. The wedding is over. Now it's time to celebrate and party into the night. The happy couple are ready to start their new life together, and all their friends and family are there to support them. There's just one problem, though. They don't know what's coming next. There was a lot of work put into this surprise. Everyone had to be in place before the groom came out. All the guests had to be lined up and ready to go. It must have been difficult for everyone to keep this a secret, but clearly it was worth it, because nobody could stop smiling. When the moment finally arrived, he made his way through the venue to the exit. He looks very dapper in his suit, and we can tell how much joy this day has brought him. But now it's time to leave the venue. The doors open, and he walks out to the biggest surprise of his life. Let's watch it one more time as he walks out those doors and into the parade. He looks so surprised, and we can only imagine what's going through his head right now. He must have never expected this in a million years. What an incredible welcome home for the newlyweds. Let's take a closer look at the bride as she watches the parade from afar. She looks stunning in her white dress and veil. Her bridesmaids are flanking her, and they all look equally surprised and delighted by what's happening. The bride looks very elegant and is probably still on cloud 9 from the wedding. How could anyone not be happy on such a joyful occasion? The groom is still walking towards the street and hasn't quite grasped what's going on yet. He looks like he's trying to process everything. Let's listen in. What the hef? We bet he never expected to see this when he exited the venue. He's now taking it all in, and it seems to be dawning on him that this is all for him. What a wonderful gesture by the medics and everyone else involved. Here's another angle from the street as the first medic approaches. The groom's face says it all. He's shocked, surprised, and very grateful for this amazing send-off. This is a moment he'll never forget. Now let's take a closer look at the medics themselves. These men and women are the real heroes of the story. They put their own duties aside to show their respect and support for the happy couple. Their dedication and sacrifice are truly inspiring. The first medic walks up to the groom and presents him with a bouquet of flowers. This is a nice touch and a symbol of the love and support they have for him. It's clear that they care deeply about him and want him to be happy. As the medic hands him the bouquet, they also say a few words of congratulations. The groom looks very moved by the gesture and takes the flowers with gratitude. It's evident that he's touched by their thoughtfulness and kindness. Next, the other medics start to appear, and they all stand in a line facing the groom. This creates a sense of anticipation and wonder as he tries to figure out what's going on. The suspense builds, and the groom's confusion only adds to the drama. The medics remain silent for a moment, keeping the groom guessing. This adds to the mystery and makes the surprise even more exciting. Just when he thinks he's figured it out, they do something unexpected. The moment has finally arrived and the medics are about to make their move. They raise their helmets in unison, revealing their faces. This is the climax of the surprise, and the groom's reaction is priceless. His jaw drops in astonishment and he can't believe what he's seeing. The medics had kept their identities hidden until this moment, and now they're standing before him, grinning from ear to ear. Their excitement is contagious and the groom can't help but smile back. The atmosphere is electric with joy and camaraderie. It's clear that these medics have put a lot of thought into this gesture. They wanted to make it personal and special for the groom, and they succeeded. Their actions speak volumes about their character and the bond they share with him. The groom is now joining the medics, laughing and celebrating. The surprise has brought them all together and created an unbreakable memory. The groom feels honored and humbled by their thoughtfulness, and he's grateful to have such amazing people in his life. As the festivities continue, the groom realizes that this is more than just a surprise. It's a celebration of love, friendship, and the power of community. He's surrounded by people who care about him and want him to be happy, and he knows that he's truly blessed to have them in his life. Now let's take a closer look at the groom himself. He's the center of attention, and he's feeling on top of the world. The surprise has left him speechless, and he's struggling to find the words to express his gratitude. He's overwhelmed with emotion and can't believe the effort the medics went to make this happen. His friends and family are gathered around him, sharing in his joy and celebrating this special moment. The groom feels loved and supported, and he knows that he can count on them for anything. The bride is watching from a distance, her face filled with pride and admiration. She can't believe how lucky she is to have found someone who's loved and respected by so many people. The groom's reaction to the surprise has touched her heart, and she's even more excited to start this new chapter in his life. The celebration continues, and the groom eventually finds his voice. He thanks the medics for their thoughtfulness and tells them how much it means to him. He admits that he's a bit embarrassed by the surprise, but in a good way. He knows that this is all done out of love and respect, and he's grateful for their generosity. As the party winds down, the groom reflects on the day's events. He feels incredibly blessed to have such amazing friends, family, and colleagues. He knows that he can call on them any time, and they'll be there for him without hesitation. The surprise parade is a testament to their love and support, and he'll cherish the memory forever. And speaking of forever, the groom and bride are now driving away in their getaway car. They honk the horn in appreciation of the medics and wave goodbye. The medics respond with cheers and applause, wishing the happy couple all the best for the future. As the car drives off into the sunset, the groom and bride feel like royalty. They've just completed an epic adventure and are ready for the next chapter in their lives. The surprise parade will be a memory they treasure forever, and it's a reminder of the amazing people they have in their lives. So, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, remember to take a page out of these medics' books. Show your friends and loved ones how much you care. A little thoughtfulness and planning can go a long way in creating unforgettable memories. And who knows, maybe you'll even inspire others to do the same. So, next time you have a friend's wedding or other special event coming up, consider organizing a surprise for them. You never know how much it might mean to them. Now, it's time to hear from you. What did you think of this groom's surprise? Do you have any similar stories of your own? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartwarming content. A wedding is one of the most awaited days in anyone's life. It is the day when two people in love finally decide to spend their lives together. On this day, everyone wants to look their best and do something special for the happy couple. But one woman had no idea what her best man had planned for her big day. He had a very special surprise for her. When the guests began to arrive at the venue, they were shocked by what they saw. They couldn't believe their eyes. For the first time in history, an entire police convoy was escorting the best man to the wedding. It was as if a real-life action movie was taking place right before their eyes. The best man was riding in the front car of the convoy, and he was lit up like a Christmas tree with all the flashing lights surrounding him. He must have looked very important. As the rest of the story unfolds, we will see who the bride is and why the best man surprised her with such an incredible entrance. But first, we need to meet the best man. This best man wasn't just any ordinary guy. No, sir. He was a police officer who worked hard every day to keep his city safe. But that didn't mean he wasn't allowed to have some fun. In fact, he loved to let loose every now and then. And what better way to do it than by surprising your best friend on her big day? The bride and the best man had been friends since childhood. They had shared so many moments together, and the best man knew how much she loved the police. So he had the idea of arriving at the wedding in style. With the help of his colleagues, he organized the biggest surprise for her. None of the guests expected the best man to arrive in such a spectacular fashion. They were speechless as they watched the convoy drive past them. Some even started filming with their phones so they could remember this once-in-a-lifetime event. The bride was also shocked, but in a good way. She couldn't believe how amazing everything looked. She was so grateful to her best man for making her day so special. It meant a lot to her that he had put in so much effort to make her happy. The bride was especially touched by the fact that the best man had chosen to arrive at the wedding in a police car. It was a nice touch that added a sense of authority and importance to the occasion. After all, the best man was the person who would be standing next to the bride, supporting her and making sure she was okay. And what better way to symbolize that role than by arriving in a police car? But the best man wasn't done yet. He had more surprises up his sleeve. When he arrived at the reception, he asked the DJ to play a special song. It was a song that had a deep meaning for the bride and him. As soon as the music started playing, everyone on the dance floor stopped and turned to look at the bride and the best man. They were about to share a special moment together. The bride was moved to tears by the gesture. She couldn't believe how lucky she was to have such a thoughtful and caring best man. The surprise entrance wasn't just a fun and memorable addition to the wedding. It was a testament to the deep bond that the best man and the bride shared. It showed how much they cared about each other and how they were willing to go the extra mile to make each other happy. The bride and the best man's relationship was truly inspiring, and it was a joy to witness their love and support for each other on their special day. It was a reminder that true friendship could bring people together in ways that they never imagined possible. In today's world, it can be easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of everyday life and forget about the importance of friendship and love. But the bride and the best man's story was a breath of fresh air. It was a reminder that there was still good in the world and that sometimes the best things in life were the simplest things, like the love and support of a good friend. Their story was a source of inspiration to everyone who witnessed it, and it left a lasting impression on everyone in attendance. The bride and the best man's relationship was a shining example of what true friendship and love should look like. It was a beautiful reminder to cherish the people in our lives who make us feel loved and supported, and to never take them for granted. As the night wore on, the bride and the best man continued to dance and celebrate with their friends and family. They laughed, they cried, and they made memories that would last a lifetime. The surprise entrance of the best man was just one of many highlights of the day. And as the night drew to a close, the bride and groom knew that they had made the perfect start to their married life. It was a celebration of love, friendship, and the power of the human spirit. And it was a reminder that no matter what challenges life may throw our way, we can always find joy and happiness if we look for it. The bride and groom's special day was not just a celebration of their love, but also a celebration of friendship and the power of the human spirit. The best man's surprise entrance was a testament to his deep bond with the bride and his willingness to go the extra mile to make her happy. It was a moment that brought everyone together and created a sense of community and belonging. As the evening progressed, the guests were filled with joy and laughter as they celebrated the happy couple. The bride and groom danced the night away, surrounded by their friends and family, feeling nothing but love and happiness. The best man's thoughtfulness and generosity were evident in every detail of the surprise, from the beautifully decorated getaway car to the touching speech he gave during the reception. It was clear to everyone that he had put a lot of time and effort into planning this special moment, and it had paid off. The bride was overwhelmed with emotion as she watched her best friend arrive in style, escorted by his fellow officers. It was a moment she would cherish for the rest of her life. The surprise entrance of the best man in a police car was not just a fun and memorable addition to the wedding, but a testament to the deep bond that he shared with the bride. It was a symbol of his unwavering support and love for her, and a celebration of their unique friendship. As the wedding reception drew to a close, the bride and groom looked back on their special day with fondness and gratitude. They had been blessed with the love and support of their friends and family, and the surprise entrance of the best man was a highlight of the celebration. It was a moment that encapsulated the joy, love, and happiness that had filled their big day. The bride and the groom's wedding was a testament to the power of love and friendship. The best man's surprise entrance was a symbol of his deep bond with the bride and his willingness to go the extra mile to make her happy. It was a moment that brought everyone together and created a sense of community and belonging. What are your thoughts on the best man's grand entrance? Do you think it was a thoughtful and creative way to surprise the bride? How did it make you feel as a guest? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories like this one. Thank you for watching, and we hope you have a wonderful day. What happens when a military couple is reunited at their wedding? You're about to find out. The bride and groom had been separated for over a year because of the nature of their jobs. They'd only seen each other twice in that time, but it was always brief, so they were both very excited to finally be able to get married. He had no idea she would show up in her dress uniform, though. As he stands there waiting to say his vows, he can't help but smile from ear to ear. She looks absolutely gorgeous. But he's not the only one with a surprise up his sleeve. When she reaches the end of the aisle, he can see her face turn pale. As the officiant asks if anyone has any objections to the marriage of these two people, a man stands up. "I object." The entire room goes silent. He walks over to where the bride is standing and drops to one knee. Then he takes off his hat and reveals his badge. "Will you marry me?" he asks. She's stunned, but before she can say a word, he continues. "You don't have to worry about what your father would have said or done because he died saving my life, and I know he would want me to take care of you. Will you do me the honor of becoming my wife?" Tears well up in her eyes. "Yes," she whispers. All the guests erupt into applause. But he isn't done yet. He looks towards the groom and shouts, "Hey, you're a U.S. Marine, right? What does that mean? Semper Fidelis." He turns back to the bride and says, "I love you more than anything else in this world. You make me a better man just by being around you. Now let's get this party started. They exchange rings, and he helps her out of her chair. After a few dances, the bride tells him how much she loves the speech he gave earlier. "It was so sweet and unexpected. I never would have guessed you would propose like that, but I'm glad you did." He smiles. "It was all for you. Now let's cut the cake." After dinner, the Marines arrive. It's time for the bouquet and garter toss. The groom picks up the bouquet while the bride looks away. Suddenly, she feels something hit her leg. She turns around to see the groom grinning from ear to ear. He then drops the flowers onto her head and gives her a kiss. Everyone cheers. The bride later admits that she was hoping he wouldn't pick up the bouquet. But when he did, she couldn't help but laugh. I guess that's why they call it the bouquet toss. You never know what's gonna happen. He just wraps his arms around her and says, "I love you." She then takes off her high heels and puts on some dancing shoes. He holds out his hand and leads her to the dance floor. As they sway back and forth, the bride tells him how happy she is that he's finally home. "It's been so long. I thought I'd never get to see you again." He pulls her close and whispers, "I never thought I'd be able to let you go, but I had to do what I had to do. I'll always come back to you, though. You're my rock, my everything. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here today." A few hours later, it's time to say goodbye. The bride cries as she hugs the groom. "I'll miss you already." He kisses her forehead and says, "Don't worry, I'll be back before you know it. Just wait for me." As the sun rises, the bride wakes up in her room alone. She throws the covers off and walks over to the window. "I can't believe he's gone already. It feels like just yesterday he was here with me. I wonder how he's doing. I hope he's okay." She turns away from the window and walks back to bed. "Oh, well, I have to get up now. There's work to be done." Later that day, the bride and groom are reunited after being apart for so long. The bride was on her way home from a long deployment when she got a surprise visit from her husband. He was supposed to be gone for months, but he came back early and no one told her. When she opened the door, he was standing there with a bouquet of roses. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you I was coming home, but I wanted to surprise you." He hands her the flowers and leans in to kiss her. "I missed you so much." She wraps her arms around him and whispers, "I missed you too." For a moment, all they do is stand there hugging each other tightly. Neither one of them wants to let go. Finally, the bride pulls away and says, "Let's go somewhere quiet. We can talk and catch up then." He nods and they walk off together. As the days go by, the bride and groom grow closer than ever before. They share their experiences with each other and learn more about one another. The bond they created during their time apart was stronger than ever. One day, the bride decides she wants to plan a special surprise for her husband. She's been thinking about it for weeks, but she hasn't figured out what to do. Then she gets an idea. She'll throw him a welcome home party. She invites all of their friends and family, and they all chip in to make it happen. When the groom gets home from work, he has no idea what's waiting for him. He opens the front door and is met with the sight of everyone he loves gathered in his living room. All of them jump up and shout, "Surprise!" He can't help but smile. "I had a feeling something was up, but I didn't think it was this big of a deal. Why did you guys come over?" His mother walks up to him and says, "We're here because we missed you and we wanted to celebrate having you back home safe and sound." He pulls her into a tight hug. "Thank you, Mom. I love you." He then turns to face the bride. She looks beautiful. He pulls her close and whispers, "I can't believe how lucky I am to have you in my life." She smiles. "Me neither." The party goes on late into the night. There's food, drinks, music, and dancing. The bride and groom take it all in, grateful for the people in their lives who love and support them. At some point during the festivities, the groom steps outside for a breather. He's overwhelmed with emotion and needs a moment to himself. That's when he hears a voice say, "Hey, you okay?" He turns around to see one of his best friends standing there with a concerned look on his face. "Yeah, I'm fine, just a little overwhelmed. It's been a long year and I'm still trying to adjust." His friend nods understandingly. "Yeah, me too. It's been tough being away from home and not knowing when we'd be coming back. But hey, we made it. We're all here together now." The groom smiles and raises his glass. To that, his friend clinked glasses with him and said, "And to the bride and groom. May your marriage be filled with happiness, laughter, and love." The groom looks up and sees the bride talking to his mother. He can't help but smile. Here's to hoping. This teacher-turned-soldier surprised his students when he showed up at their big day. The bride was left speechless when her former students showed up unannounced to perform for her at her wedding reception. In fact, they had rehearsed a special song and dance number just for her, and when the time came, they took to the floor and wowed her with their talent. But that's not all. They also had a very special gift for their beloved teacher. Let's find out more about this amazing story. The bride was a kindergarten teacher before she met her husband. He was an army officer, and after they started dating, she learned that he would soon be deployed overseas. So she decided to quit her job and follow him. She wanted to be with him while he was away, and she knew that if she didn't, she might regret it. She sold her house and bought a one-way ticket to the country where her boyfriend was stationed. When she arrived, she found out that he had been honest with her about everything except one thing. He hadn't told her that he had already been there for 2 years. He had kept in touch with her through letters and phone calls, but he had never mentioned that he was in a different country. She was angry at first, but she soon realized that she couldn't stay mad at him for long because he was so charming and handsome. They had a wonderful time together, and they were soon married. After the ceremony, they went to a local pub to celebrate with some friends. While they were there, she met some of her husband's colleagues, and they told her stories about their experiences in the military. She listened intently and tried to imagine what it must be like to live such a dangerous life. After a few hours, they all left the pub and went back to their respective homes. The bride was exhausted from the long journey and the excitement of the wedding, so she went straight to bed. However, she couldn't sleep, no matter how hard she tried. She kept thinking about the stories her husband's friends had told her, and she began to worry about him. She got up and went to the window to look out at the street. Suddenly, she saw a group of soldiers walking past her house. One of them was carrying a guitar, and another had a microphone in his hand. She couldn't help but smile. She knew that these soldiers were probably headed to the pub for a night of drinking and music, and she imagined her husband among them. She went back to bed and tried to sleep again, but she couldn't. This time she got up and went to the kitchen to get a glass of water. As she filled the glass, she heard a knock at the door. She turned around and saw one of her husband's friends standing there. He looked tired and sweaty, and he was holding a guitar case in his hands. "Can I help you?" she asked. Hi," the soldier said awkwardly. We were wondering if we could, borrow your phone." "Sure," she replied, handing him the phone. "Here you go." The soldier thanked her and disappeared into the night. A few minutes later, she heard the sound of singing and laughter coming from outside. She went to the window and saw her husband and his friends performing a song for her. They were having the time of their lives, and she couldn't stop smiling. Then, something unexpected happened. One of the soldiers approached the window and shouted, "Hey, come and join us." She hesitated for a moment, but then she joined them outside. They all sang and danced together until late into the night. In the morning, she woke up feeling refreshed and happy. She couldn't believe how much fun she had the night before, and she was grateful to her husband's friends for making it so memorable. She knew that living with a soldier wasn't going to be easy, but she was determined to make it work. She made breakfast for everyone, and then they all set off to their respective duties. She waved goodbye to her husband and his friends as they left. Then she went back inside to start planning her day. She had been in this new country for a few months now, and she was starting to feel comfortable. She had made some new friends, and she was getting used to the local customs. She decided to go shopping and buy some new clothes to add to her wardrobe. As she was browsing through the racks of clothing, she saw a familiar face. It was one of her husband's colleagues from the night before. "Oh, hi," she said. "Didn't expect to see you here." "Me neither," he replied. "What are you doing here?" Just shopping for some new clothes, she said. How about you? Same, he said. So, do you have any plans for tonight? She asked. Nope, he said. What about you? I was thinking of going to that new Italian place downtown, she said. Do you want to join me? Sure, he said. That sounds great. They spent the afternoon shopping, and then they went to the restaurant for dinner. They talked for hours, and they discovered that they had a lot in common. He was a widower, and he had a young son. She told him about her life back home, and he shared his experiences in the military. At the end of the meal, he asked her if she would like to go dancing. She agreed, and they went to a local club. They danced the night away, and then he drove her home. Over the next few weeks, they became close friends. They hung out at clubs, restaurants, and bars. He introduced her to his family, and she met his son. She loved spending time with them, and she felt like she was part of their family. Then one night, while they were dancing at a club, he asked her to marry him. She was shocked, but said yes. She knew that she loved him, and she couldn't wait to spend the rest of her life with him. They planned a small wedding ceremony and invited only their closest friends and family. She wore a beautiful white dress, and he looked dashing in his military uniform. After the ceremony, they went to a local pub for a reception. She was having the time of her life when suddenly she heard a knock at the door. She turned around and saw a group of soldiers standing there. One of them was holding a guitar and another had a microphone in his hand. "Can I help you?" she asked. The soldiers smiled and said, "We're here to perform for you." She was confused, but then she realized what they meant. They were there to sing for her at her wedding reception. She couldn't believe it. It was such a sweet surprise, and she was so grateful to them. The soldiers took to the floor and performed a lively song and dance number. They sang songs about love, friendship, and courage, and they even did a skit that made everyone laugh. She watched in amazement as they put on quite a show. They were talented musicians and dancers, and she couldn't help but tap her feet to the beat. After their performance, they presented her with a bouquet of flowers and a card. "Thank you so much," she said, tears in her eyes. "This means everything to me." The soldiers smiled and said, "It was our pleasure. We love you, ma'am." Then they disappeared into the crowd. She was still in shock. It had been years since she had performed in front of an audience, and she couldn't believe that her former students had remembered her and wanted to honor her at her wedding. It was such a touching gesture, and she would never forget it. The party continued late into the night. She danced with her husband, friends, and family. She couldn't stop smiling. It had been a perfect day, and she knew that she was truly blessed. As the evening drew to a close, she looked out at the smiling faces of her guests. She thought about her journey to this point in her life, and she couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude. She had faced many challenges, but she had overcome them all, and she was now standing strong and proud. She knew that the road ahead would be filled with more challenges, but she was ready to face them head-on. She had her faith, her family, and her friends to support her, and she knew that she could face anything as long as she had them by her side. As the music played and the laughter echoed around her, she felt a deep sense of contentment. She was surrounded by the people she loved, and she knew that she was exactly where she was supposed to be. It was a feeling of pure joy and happiness that she would cherish forever. For today's Community Heroes, we headed to a local fire station where we popped out to surprise one lucky bride with an all-expenses-paid photo session. Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm here with a local nonprofit organization that provides free portrait photography to deserving members of our community. Today, we are at a local fire station. This is their main fire station in the city. And we are here to pop out to surprise one of the firefighters' daughters who is getting married next week with an all-expenses-paid photo session. This firefighter has been with the department for over 27 years. That's almost 3 decades of service to the community. When he found out about this program, he immediately thought of his youngest daughter who is getting married next week. She's one of 4. Her wedding is only going to be attended by immediate family. And she's always wanted to have those beautiful pictures taken, but just didn't think it would ever be possible. So when he found out about the Community Heroes program, He thought it would be a wonderful opportunity for her to get those pictures taken without any financial burden. So today, we surprised her with a pop-out at her favorite place, which is the fire station. All of her favorite people are here. They're all here right now. Just look at that smile. It's just so beautiful. So this is the first time she's seen me. We also had a local photographer, Kelly, set up a backdrop here inside the fire station, complete with all these beautiful lights, and she even brought in some fun props like this antique fire truck. How cool is that? But before we surprised her with the photo shoot, I had everyone line up along the wall, and when she came through the door, everyone popped out and yelled, "Surprise!" Look at her face. Oh my gosh, it was priceless. I love it. I love it when we do these. It's just so much fun. So let's take a moment to learn a little bit more about this hero. He joined the department in January of 1994. That's almost 3 decades of service. He started his career at Station 18. After completing his probationary period, he was transferred to his current station, Station 7, where he's been ever since. He's held many positions within the department and served on many different committees and task forces, including being a founding member of the department's Honor Guard. He's received numerous accommodations for his service, including being named Firefighter of the Year in 2005. But his most recent accomplishment is what we're here for today. He is one of 10 recipients of the department's Medal of Valor. The Medal of Valor is the department's highest award for bravery. It's presented to firefighters who perform acts of valor that go above and beyond the call of duty. He received this medal for his actions on September 11th, 2021. On that day, he was working on a structure fire in the 600 block of North 10th Street. As his crew was trying to put out the fire, they were informed that a man was still inside the burning building. Without hesitation, he went back into the burning building and began searching for the missing man. He found the man in a back bedroom and helped him out of the building to safety. Unfortunately, the man suffered cardiac arrest, and despite everyone's best efforts, he did not survive. But he saved a life that day, and for that, he was awarded the Medal of Valor. And while this firefighter has been busy serving the community, he's also been busy raising a family. He and his wife Diana have 4 daughters, Erica, Alana, Stephanie, and Amanda. His oldest 3 are all grown up and out of the house, but Amanda's still at home. She's a senior at a local high school, and if you ask her dad, she's the best one yet. Between raising a family and fighting fires, he hasn't had a lot of time for hobbies, but he does enjoy camping whenever he can. He's also a big fan of classic rock, and he loves to watch movies. But his favorite thing to do is spend time with his family, especially his 4 daughters. He says they're the best part of his life. Well, let's take a break from all the excitement and talk about how you can become a local hero yourself by supporting this program. Every year, we work with local businesses to raise funds for our free photo shoots, and we couldn't do it without their help. Our top-tier sponsors are given prominent placement on our website and at events. They also receive social media recognition and are invited to attend our VIP receptions. Do you want to make a real impact in your community? Then become a sponsor today. Visit our website to learn more about our sponsorship opportunities or to make a tax-deductible donation. You can also text the word Give Local Hero to 565 555 940. A representative will contact you shortly to discuss your donation. Thank you for your generosity. Now, let's get back to the fun. Let's get this party started. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome a local hero, Firefighter Anonymous. Let's start off with some shots of the bride and groom, shall we? I love this one. Okay, now let's bring in the family. Oh, she looks so beautiful. What a gorgeous family. I bet her brothers and sisters are so excited for her. Are you ready for your close-up, Amanda? Say cheese. Come on, you guys. Give us a kiss. There you go. Perfect. Now let's get some pictures of the bride with her mom and dad. Oh, wow. That's incredible. I love this one. Here, take a look at this one. Isn't that a beautiful picture? It really captures the love between them. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for, the spin in the chair. Oh, she looks so elegant. All right, now that we have the bride all set up, let's head outside and get some shots in front of the fire truck. Hey, Hey, how about a group shot with the whole crew? Come on now, guys. Everyone say cheese. All right, we got 'em. Now let's get some pictures of the bride with her favorite people, her favorite crew. These are the guys that have been there for her every step of the way. These men are not only her heroes, but they're probably also her best friends. Can you imagine having these big lug guys as your best friends? What a blessing. Here, take a look at this one. This is such a great picture. I love it. This one's gonna be amazing. Look at this one. I love it. Look at this one. That's a good one. That's a keeper. Here, take a look at this one. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Perfect. Okay, I have a special surprise for all of our heroes today. Since you guys are such a big part of her life, Kelly decided to surprise you guys with a group picture in front of the fire truck. Come on now, guys. Everybody gather around the truck. All right, everybody say cheese. Perfect. I love this one. Look at this one. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Perfect. I love it. All right, we're almost done. Just a few more group shots and then we'll call it a day. How about a picture with the bride and all the firefighters? Come on now, guys. Everybody gather around. All right, everybody say cheese. Perfect. Look at this one. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Beautiful. All right, last but not least, a picture of the bride with her favorite people. Oh, I bet they have so much fun together. Look at this one. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Well, that's it for today's Community Heroes. Thank you for joining us as we surprised one lucky bride with an all-expenses-paid photo shoot. And a big thank you to all the firefighters for making this surprise possible. If you want to be part of our next Community Heroes episode, be sure to stay tuned for more updates. And if you want to learn more about sponsorship opportunities, visit our website. Until next time, stay safe, stay awesome, and always remember to be a hero to someone. I'm a United States Army combat veteran, and this is my channel. Today, we're going to be running through an actual military operation with a little bit of a twist. The mission order is as follows. As the wedding party approaches the reviewing stand to accept congratulations from family and friends. After the ceremony, the bridesmaids are to break into a drill formation as the bride's mom appears at the end of the line to surprise her. This is Operation Surprise Mom. Appears in parade formation. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, so let's talk about the twist here. First, this isn't real. These are actors. Everything that you're seeing on screen right now is completely staged. That being said, there are some very realistic elements at play, and the fact that these people are willing to go all in for their friend's wedding is incredibly cool. So yes, it's fake, but that doesn't mean that we can't learn some valuable lessons about leadership from this scenario. First off, what's really cool about this is the amount of trust that is placed in the leader of the bridesmaids. She is the one who is going to call cadence, maintain the integrity of the formation, and make sure everybody does their individual parts. Now, she's not doing any of this alone, though. You'll notice that just behind her is a non-commissioned officer, basically like a sergeant. She's checking the actions of the bridesmaids and making sure everything stays on track. And, of course, she's going to have to step in and probably take over if something goes wrong. And it's because of that presence and that leadership that the rest of the bridesmaids are able to do their part, which is simply to follow the cadence, maintain the proper spacing, and do a good job of selling the illusion of the drill team coming apart at the seams. So our first real opportunity to observe a failure in this case actually comes before the operation even starts. When the camera is focused on the bridesmaid closest to her, probably the maid of honor, is chewing gum. Now, this is a problem because you never want to be chewing gum when you're performing military drill. It's disrespectful, it makes you look sloppy, and most importantly, it could get you hurt. Because if you're not paying attention, or if you're not fully focused on the person that you're supposed to be watching, you're going to swallow that gum and it's going to fall down your dress, it's going to fall down your shirt, and you're going to have a lot of problems. Not to mention the fact that it's really hard to keep your mouth closed and maintain a straight face when you have gum in your mouth. So, what the non-commissioned officer in charge does is she steps in and she gets the gum out. As they approach the reviewing stand, our attention is shifted to the mother of the bride. She's dressed in her finest Marine Corps dress blues, complete with the black gloves, a black sword belt, and a nice pair of black high heels. Now, the reason why this is important is because it tells us two things about the level of professionalism expected by the bride and the groom. First off, it means that there's probably not going to be alcohol at this wedding. Second, it also means that the bride is probably a pretty high-ranking officer because only officers are allowed to wear dress uniforms to events like this, and only officers, once they get to a certain rank, are allowed to wear black high heels. She's got to be at least an O3 or higher. The real test of this operation is going to come at the point where the bridesmaids are supposed to break out of their parade rest formation and wheel around to their left. In order to do this effectively, the whole group has to move in unison. If anybody hesitates, if anybody takes too long to do their turn, the whole thing is going to fall apart. And the biggest challenge here is going to be maintaining that perfect circle. Because in a real military formation, the last person turns and they come to parade rest at the head of the line, completing the circle. But this is a wedding, not a military drill. So instead of doing a full circle, they're just going to rotate a few people around and then stop. Now, I already know that something's gone wrong here. The spacing is off. People are overlapping each other and breaking the integrity of the circle. And the person in the middle is either not going to be able to maintain her balance, or she's going to have to put her foot down and ruin the illusion. Now, again, this is fake, but if this were real, the non-commissioned officer would probably step in, correct the action, and then they would probably perform the maneuver again until they get it right. But the bride's mom enters at the perfect time, ruining the effect and saving everybody from embarrassment. Now, in this moment, I think the bride is supposed to be surprised, but she's not reacting accordingly. A better reaction would have been to clap, or to cheer, or maybe even throw a few flowers. Instead, she kind of just stands there awkwardly while her mom looks down at her. Now, this might seem like a small thing, but if you watch closely, the bride's face lights up a little bit. I think she was just caught off guard in the moment. But you'll see that her mom immediately puts her arm around her and then they walk away together. So, I don't know about you, but I really wanted to see them finish the formation and have the bride's face light up when she saw her mom walking down the line towards her. So, let's try to put ourselves in her shoes. Imagine that you've just said your vows and you're walking down the aisle with your new spouse, trying to take in the congratulations of your friends and your family. It's probably one of the happiest moments of your life. Your friends and your loved ones are all gathered together celebrating you. And then, all of a sudden, the world shifts. All eyes are on you as your bridesmaids break into a perfect military drill formation and start rotating on their axes. At the end of the line, you see a familiar face. It's your mom. She looks beautiful in her dress blues. Her face lights up. She smiles and she marches directly towards you. And you couldn't be happier for her. This is such a unique idea, and it's a testament to the thoughtfulness of the bridesmaids and the love that they have for their friend. There's no way that something like this could ever happen in a real military formation without months and months of training, and that's not possible for most people. But this is what makes things like flash mobs and synchronized drill teams so fascinating. It's the element of surprise. You never know what's going to happen, and that's part of what makes it fun. When you put everything together, it really becomes clear how much work went into this. The amount of coordination required is insane. You can tell that every single person involved knew exactly what their job was, and they rehearsed it until it came naturally. I don't know if the mother of the bride had any say in this, or if this was all planned by the bridesmaids, but I hope that she appreciated the effort that went into making her day special. I'm curious what you guys thought. Leave me a comment below and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. This cop dad is winning Father of the Year hands down for crashing a party in his patrol car with lights flashing just to give his little girl a surprise visit. The best part is that he even stayed in character when she was clearly trying not to laugh. The clip starts with a young girl sitting at a table talking to some friends while they're all eating pizza. The girl is clearly uncomfortable because there's a man in a Santa Claus costume dancing at the party. When suddenly the lights start flashing outside, she looks out the window and sees her dad in a patrol car outside. And, as if this surprise wasn't enough, he gets out of the car, wearing his uniform, and walks into the party. She can't believe it. She stands up from her chair in disbelief as the man in the Santa suit looks out the window and realizes what's going on. He stops dancing and watches as the little girl runs to her dad and jumps into his arms. It's one of the most heartwarming things you'll ever see. The entire time, the dad is still in character. He pretends to be an officer who just stopped by to break up the party. He jokingly tells his daughter, "I'm going to take you home," to which she responds, "No, you're not." As the two are hugging, we can see other officers in the background laughing and recording videos on their phones. This must have been a planned operation because someone was expecting this to happen as they were filming the whole thing. When the dad finally breaks character and lets go of his daughter, he picks up a slice of pizza and starts eating it. Someone off camera asks, "How did you get in, Dad?" clearly referring to how he got inside the building. The dad replies, "I kicked the door open like I'm a SWAT guy." His daughter laughs and says, "You didn't kick the door open, you just walked in." The dad is eating the pizza while looking at his daughter. He turns to face the camera and says, "That's what happens when you have a lot of pizza and nobody's home." His daughter is laughing hysterically at this point. The dad asks, "What? That's funny." She nods while wiping tears of joy from her eyes. As the video comes to an end, we can hear someone in the background say, "That's so sweet." Another person asks, "Who's cutting the cake?" And someone else jokes, the cops." Meanwhile, the little girl continues to laugh and the dad plays with the slice of pizza in his hand. People were quick to praise the officer for being such a good father. One person wrote, "That's what I call a good cop, a loving father. God bless both of them." Another said, "I love the fact that he stayed in character. Good job, Papa Bear." A third added, "That is the cutest thing I have seen all week. What a great dad." Unfortunately, there were also people who criticized the officer for crashing his daughter's party. One person wrote, "I bet she was mortified. That's not cute, it's embarrassing." Another said, "Yeah, that's actually really awkward." A third added, "This is why cops are looked at as the enemy. They have no respect for people or boundaries." But these comments make absolutely no sense. The girl was clearly happy to see her dad. Even if she was embarrassed at first, she quickly started laughing and was clearly having fun. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a cop showing up to his daughter's party. In fact, it's really sweet and shows how much he cares about her. But you gotta admit the timing could have been better. Imagine being at your kid's birthday party and in the middle of the celebration, a police car pulls up outside and starts flashing its lights. You'd probably think something terrible had happened. So when you go outside to see what's going on, you find your spouse standing there in a police uniform. What a surprise. It might be funny at first, but it's also pretty scary. That's exactly what happened to one family in South Carolina. Their son had just turned 6 and they were celebrating with a superhero-themed party. But before they knew it, a police car pulled up outside the house and started flashing its lights. The parents thought something terrible had happened, so they ran outside to investigate. That's when they saw their own husband and wife standing outside the car in full police uniform. It was one of the biggest surprises they could have ever imagined. They later posted the clip on Facebook where it quickly went viral. It's been viewed more than 2.5 million times and has more than 8,000 comments. Most people were just in awe of how adorable the moment was. One person wrote, "That is so precious. What a cool dad." Another said, "This is so wholesome. It made my day." A third added, "This is the cutest thing I have ever seen." And honestly, we couldn't agree more. It's clear that this dad loves his daughter very much and would do anything for her. Showing up to her party in a police car was his way of making her feel special and loved. And even though it might have been a bit embarrassing at first, she was clearly thrilled to see him. As for the critics who say that the timing could have been better, we say, don't be ridiculous. This was obviously a planned surprise, and everyone was in on it except for the birthday girl. The dad probably coordinated with the other parents to make sure everything went smoothly and the timing was perfect. Plus, think about how much planning it took to get a police car to the party without anyone noticing. The dad probably had to pull some strings and make some phone calls to make this happen. He was willing to go above and beyond to make his daughter's day special. Not only that, but he also showed incredible restraint by staying in character even after his daughter started laughing. He could have easily broken character and said, "Surprise, I'm your dad," but he decided to stick with it. That shows how committed he was to making this surprise the best it could be. So to all the people out there saying that this dad ruined his daughter's party, we say you're just jealous because you're not as awesome as him. This guy is a true superhero, and we need more dads like him in this world. As for the birthday girl, we hope you had a wonderful day, sweetheart. We're sure your dad will make you feel special every single day of your life. Now, check out another recent story. Cops use stun gun on suspect who wouldn't stop spitting. Or click this other story. When the bride throws her bouquet, the groom catches it and is very happy until he sees what's in the basket. This was the best man's idea, and now the groom will never forget this moment. Welcome back to our channel where we bring you the most heartwarming and funny videos about weddings from around the world. Today, we are featuring a video from Austria that has melted our hearts. The video shows a bride throwing her bouquet and the groom catching it. But when he opens the basket, he finds a fun wedding first aid kit with a note for him to take care of his bride. Then the groom's sister appears and gives him a huge surprise. If you want to be part of our amazing community, hit that subscribe button to get a notification whenever we upload a new video. And without further ado, let's dive into the heartwarming details of this special moment. The wedding video starts like any other, with the bride and groom enjoying their big day. During the reception, the bride calls all the single ladies to line up for the bouquet toss. When the bride throws the bouquet, we see the groom standing behind the single women, waiting patiently. As the bouquet approaches, he leaps up and catches it. Everyone cheers and the bride watches with a smile. But the groom's reaction changes quickly after he looks inside the basket attached to the bouquet. The groom had no idea what was inside and looks surprised by what he finds. He opens the basket slowly, revealing a collection of band-aids, ointments, antiseptics, and gauze pads neatly arranged inside. There's even a little bottle of pills. It's a complete first aid kit, something you might find in a medicine cabinet at home. What makes this moment even more touching is the handwritten note attached to the kit. It reads, "To the groom, please take good care of our bride." The groom reads the note aloud and everyone laughs and applauds. He looks touched by the gesture and walks toward the bride, holding the first aid kit up in the air for everyone to see. Then the bride's sister appears carrying a bigger first aid box with the same items. She stands next to her sister and the groom, holding the box open for all to see. The groom looks at his bride and then back at the box. He seems to be in on the joke and takes a playful jab at his wife, saying she better not cut him off. The bride and her sister laugh and the atmosphere is filled with joy. The best man then approaches the couple and explains the idea behind the wedding first aid kit. He tells them that if they needed anything, they could just ask and someone would be there to help. He assures them that they don't need to worry about anything because everything is taken care of. As the night goes on, the bride's sister continues to check on the couple, making sure they're doing well and offering assistance whenever needed. She keeps a close eye on the bride, ensuring her happiness throughout the reception. In an interview after the wedding, the bride reveals that the idea of the wedding first aid kit came from the best man. He thought it was a funny way to help out the newly married couple. The bride admits that while she didn't plan it, she loved the idea and appreciated the thoughtfulness of her friends. She also mentions that her sister had a lot of medical supplies at home and was happy to lend them for the wedding. When asked about her favorite memory from the wedding, the bride doesn't hesitate. She says it was when her sister surprised the groom with the first aid kit. She found it hilarious and unexpected, which made it even more special. The bride also notes that her friends were incredibly supportive throughout the wedding planning process and that their help made her feel loved and cared for. As for the groom, he was equally surprised and touched by the gesture. He had no idea what was in the basket until he opened it and saw the first aid kit. He thought it was a sweet and funny way for the bride and her friends to welcome him into the family. He also appreciated the support and thoughtfulness of the bride's sister, who was always there to lend a helping hand. The video ends with the newlyweds dancing together, surrounded by their friends and family. The bride's sister watches them from a distance, smiling and feeling grateful to be part of such a special day. The groom's face was priceless when he realized what was inside the basket. It's clear that he loves and appreciates his new wife and her family. The bride's sister's thoughtfulness and willingness to help made a lasting impression on the couple and their guests. The wedding first aid kit became a memorable and humorous addition to the celebration. The bride and groom's love story is truly inspiring, and their wedding was a beautiful example of how love, laughter, and support can come together to create unforgettable memories. Here are some of the comments from our viewers. The groom was so shocked and happy to receive the first aid kit. It was a very sweet and funny surprise. Kudos to the best man and the maid of honor for coming up with such a creative idea. They truly made the wedding more memorable for the couple. Another viewer commented, "The bride's sister is a true gem. Her willingness to help and support the newlyweds is commendable. It's not every day that you find someone so thoughtful and caring. The wedding first aid kit was a brilliant idea." And another said, "This is such a cute and funny tradition. I love how the groom's reaction was priceless. It's clear that he was touched by the gesture. What a great way to start off their marriage with a little bit of humor and a lot of love." If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. We appreciate your support and can't wait to share more heartwarming stories with you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. During an emotional wedding ceremony, a group of soldiers burst into song, surprising the newlyweds and heightening the patriotism of the event. But who are these soldiers? And why did they decide to perform such an astonishing stunt? Keep watching to find out more about this beautiful moment and the touching story behind it. The wedding day is one of the most important days in the life of any individual. It's a day when two people in love pledge their eternal devotion to one another. The ceremony is normally filled with joy, laughter, and most importantly, love. However, for one couple, their special day was made even more memorable by an unexpected performance from a group of patriotic soldiers. In this video, we will take a closer look at the surprise that these soldiers organized for the newlyweds. So make sure to watch till the end to see what their touching gesture was all about. A wedding is a beautiful event that brings together family and friends to celebrate the love of two people. It's a time for joy, celebration, and new beginnings. Weddings can be expensive and stressful to plan, but the end result is always worth it. The bride looks stunning in her white dress and the groom looks sharp in his suit. The ceremony is filled with emotion as the couple exchanges vows and rings. The reception is filled with dancing, food, and drink, and the newlyweds are the center of attention. It's a time for them to relax and enjoy their special day. However, for one couple, their wedding took an unexpected turn when a group of soldiers burst into song during their ceremony. The soldiers were led by a man in uniform who approached the couple after they had exchanged vows and rings. He then asked for a microphone and began to speak. He told the couple that he and his men were there to honor the groom, who was a veteran. He then asked the groom if he would like to hear his men sing the national anthem. The groom was surprised but honored, and he agreed. The soldiers then broke into song, singing the national anthem with pride and patriotism. The bride and groom stood hand in hand, listening to the song. The guests also joined in, singing along to the anthem. After the song ended, the soldiers presented the couple with a flag that had been flown in combat. They also gave the bride a rose and the groom a challenge coin. The couple was deeply moved by the gesture, and they thanked the soldiers for making their day so special. The soldiers then joined the reception, dancing and celebrating with the couple. They stayed for several hours, making sure that the bride and groom had a wonderful day. The couple was so grateful for the soldiers' presence, and they knew that their wedding day would be a day they would never forget. But who were these soldiers? Why did they decide to perform such an astonishing stunt? Keep watching to find out more about this beautiful moment and the touching story behind it. The emotional ceremony was attended by the couple's family and friends. all of whom were moved by the soldiers' surprise performance. The bride, who was in tears, couldn't believe that her husband had arranged such a touching surprise for her. The groom, a veteran, was clearly moved by the gesture and thanked the soldiers for making his day so special. The soldiers, who were part of a local veterans group, were led by a man named John, a retired sergeant major. John had organized the surprise with the help of the groom's brother, who had served with him in the military. The soldiers had traveled from all over the state to attend the wedding and perform the surprise. The groom had no idea what was planned, and the bride was in on the surprise. She had helped John and the others plan the performance, but she had managed to keep it a secret from her husband until the very end. The performance itself was a beautiful rendition of the national anthem, and the soldiers' voices echoed the emotion and patriotism of the song. The bride and groom stood hand in hand during the performance, and the guests also joined in, singing along to the anthem. After the performance, the soldiers presented the couple with a flag that had been flown in combat. They also gave the bride a rose and the groom a challenge coin. The couple was deeply moved by the gesture, and they thanked the soldiers for making their day so special. The soldiers then joined the reception, dancing and celebrating with the couple. The groom was particularly moved by the performance, and he thanked the soldiers for their support and friendship. He talked about how their service had inspired him to be a better person, and how their sacrifice had given him the freedom to live his life the way he wanted to. He also thanked them for making his wedding day so special. The bride was in tears throughout the performance, and she thanked the soldiers for their thoughtfulness and kindness. She talked about how the performance had added a special meaning to their wedding day and how she would never forget it. The guests were also deeply moved by the performance, and many of them thanked the soldiers for their service and sacrifice. So why did the groom arrange such a special surprise for his bride? Well, it turns out that the groom had a deep connection to the soldiers. You see, he had served in the military with John, the leader of the soldiers, and the other members of the group were his close friends. The groom wanted to honor his service and his friend's sacrifice with a special performance that would show his love and respect for them. He had discussed the idea with the bride, and she had been supportive and helpful in planning the surprise. The bride was also moved by the groom, his connection to the soldiers, and she understood the importance of their service and sacrifice. She had no idea that the groom had arranged such a touching surprise for her, and she was in tears when the soldiers burst into song during the ceremony. If you're finding this video valuable, please support us by leaving a comment below. Your feedback is very important to us and helps us create more great content for you. Overall, the wedding was a beautiful celebration of the groom's love for his bride and his friends. The soldiers' surprise performance was the highlight of the day, and it was a beautiful tribute to the groom's service in the military. The bride and groom were deeply moved by the gesture, and they thanked the soldiers for making their day so special. The soldiers were happy to have been a part of the day, and they enjoyed celebrating with the couple. It was a day filled with emotion, patriotism, and love, and it was a day that the bride and groom will never forget. The bride and groom's touching story highlights the importance of honoring those who serve in the military and the impact that their service has on our society. The groom's decision to honor his friends and fellow soldiers with a surprise performance is a testament to the strong bonds that are formed in the military community. The bride's support and participation in the surprise add to the heartwarming nature of the story, showcasing the power of love and unity. As the bride and groom move forward in their lives together, they will no doubt be inspired by the courage, sacrifice, and dedication of the men and women who serve in the military. The surprise performance at their wedding is a reminder of the importance of honoring those who serve and the impact that their service has on our society. If you found this video interesting, please let us know in the comments section below. We value your feedback and it helps us make more great videos for you. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay up to date on all our latest videos. Thanks for watching. It's finally happened, y'all. We have done it. We are here at the reception. The wedding is over. We made it. And I got to say, I look amazing. Just look at this. Look at all of us. Look how beautiful we look. We all look so good. So, For those of you who don't know what's going on right now, let me catch you up real quick. So basically, our wedding was actually yesterday. Yes, we had a beautiful ceremony and everything went off without a hitch. It was perfect. Literally, everything that we could have asked for in a wedding. It was absolutely perfect. And the best part about it is that we got to celebrate with a lot of our family members who came out to support us. But there's one more thing that makes this moment even better. Let me turn around real quick. Everybody, if you turn around, please give a warm welcome to my cousin. She just got done with her time in boot camp. And everybody, please also give a warm welcome to my other cousin. He just got done with his time in boot camp. Please give them a round of applause. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. For those of you who have been following along, you've been watching the series. You already know that both of these two fine young adults just graduated from their respective boot camps. But for those of you who are new to the channel, what's going on? Welcome to our channel where we share all aspects of our life in the United States Marine Corps. But today, we are here to share something very special with you guys. As you can see behind me, all of the service branches are represented tonight: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and even my sister-in-law is representing the Merchant Marines as well. Now, we're all here together at this reception to celebrate not only our brother becoming an official United States Marine, but we're also here to celebrate the love between him and his beautiful wife. So, like I said before, the wedding was yesterday, and it was literally perfect. I mean, it couldn't have been any better. The ceremony was beautiful. The reception was even more beautiful. We had some bumps in the road here and there, but overall, it all worked out, and that's really all that matters. I mean, this is a prime example of why we do what we do on this channel, because despite all the chaos, despite all the crazy stuff that happens in the world, when it really matters, when it really counts, you can always count on your family, especially when it comes to something as important as getting married. I mean, for me, I couldn't have asked for a better day. I was able to spend time with my grandparents. Both of my parents were there, my brothers were there, my uncles were there, my cousins, my nieces. Everyone was there celebrating with me. And I think that says a lot, especially for someone like me who joined the military at 17 years old. I've missed a lot of important moments in my life, whether it was family gatherings, holidays, birthdays, graduations, proms, you name it, I probably missed it. And a big reason why I've missed so much is because of the nature of the job, because of deployments, because of training exercises, because of school, because of all that stuff. It's really hard to get leave approved sometimes. You know, sometimes you ask for leave and you get it. Sometimes you ask for leave and you don't get it. Sometimes you ask for leave and they approve it, but only for a few days instead of the amount of days that you actually needed. So I feel like I've missed out on so many important things throughout the years, but when it mattered most, when it really mattered most, we were all able to be together. You know, a lot of people don't understand how hard it is for service members to get leave approved. They don't understand the hoops you have to jump through or the amount of planning that has to happen in advance for you to be able to take time off. I mean, I've had people tell me, "Oh, you guys get paid to travel, you get paid to sightsee, you get paid to go have fun." And yes, while it's true that we do get to travel to a lot of cool places, a lot of service members would actually rather be at home with their families than traveling overseas to a combat zone or a foreign country that's thousands of miles away from the United States. There are a lot of misconceptions about the military, and a lot of people don't realize the sacrifices that service members make. Not only do we miss out on a lot of family gatherings and events, but we also miss out on a lot of important milestones in our own lives as well. You know, when you're deployed, when you're at sea for months at a time, you miss out on your kids' first steps, you miss out on your kids' first words, you miss out on birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, all that stuff. And it sucks. It's really hard. A lot of service members struggle with this every single day. So when it really matters most, when you really need to be home, that's when you have to be the most persistent with getting leave approved. That's when you have to call your chain of command more than usual. That's when you have to write more emails than usual. And, you know, sometimes it works out, and you get the time off. Sometimes it doesn't work out and you don't get the time off. But in our case, we were all able to make it home. And that's really all that matters. So once again, thank you to my family for making it out. Thank you to my entire extended family. I love you guys so much. Even though I couldn't be there for every single event, every single birthday, every single graduation, every single holiday, you guys still welcome me back open arms every single time. And that means more to me than anything else in the world. I wouldn't trade this for the world. I wouldn't trade being a Marine for the world. And I'm so glad that all of you understand that. So I just wanted to take a minute away from all of the festivities, away from all the food and drinks and dancing and stuff. Just take a minute to look at all of you guys and just say thank you. Thank you for making it out. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting each other. I mean, look at this. It's just beautiful, man. Like literally, I can't describe it. It's just beautiful to see everybody here, especially after everything that's been going on in the world. You know, the past couple of years haven't been easy on anybody, and I feel like we've all made it through by supporting each other, by sticking together. And tonight is no different. You know, we're here celebrating the love between two people, but we're also here celebrating the love between family and friends. We're celebrating the bond that we have with each other, and I feel like nothing can break that. Nothing can stop that. And that's something that I will forever be grateful for. So once again, thank you to everybody who made it out. Thank you to everybody who sent their well wishes. To those of you who couldn't make it, we love you guys too. And to those of you who are here, we love you guys too. And we hope that you had a great time at the reception. We hope you enjoyed yourselves. We hope you enjoyed the food, the drinks, the music, the dancing, everything. We hope you enjoyed it because we really wanted you guys to enjoy yourselves. So yeah, this has been our channel. We just wanted to share this special moment with you guys. This is something that we'll never forget, not only because it's the day that we became officially man and wife, but because it's the day that we were able to share with our family. And for us, that means the world. All right. That's gonna do it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.